Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Guild Wars 2 podcast, the LightBringers episode 14. And I have an awesome set of guests with me today, and you will see their faces very soon. And if you're listening audibly, pretty sure that's a word, you will not see their faces unless you go and look at the VOD elsewhere on YouTube and also Twitch. Hope you are well, you are staying safe, and you are good in the world today and looking after yourself, not just physically, but mentally as well. And if you're here live, hello, welcome. Today's podcast is going to be about the Guild Wars 2 roadmap leading up to the expansion, and also what we will be doing and what we think and all the things leading up to it. And you're going to be able to see faces in just a moment. There you go. Look at that. Might just have to fix a few bits. Hello, everyone. I hope you are good. Look at the guests we have. We have Chess. We have Maeric. I don't know if I should put Maeric. Do you want it so people can see your whole backdrop? I don't know. All the stuff.
How about just the backdrop?
Yeah, would you prefer if it's only the backdrop?
The backdrop is like really good though.
There's some really good stuff back there. Maybe we could just scrap every idea for the podcast today and only take like a tour of Maeric's backdrop.
Can I do a show and tell? Yeah, so in this cube.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone.
Awesome, yes. There we go. We've already derailed off of the subject. Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 is not that bad that we don't want to talk about it. It's fine. Okay, I'm just fixing up some camera stuff. We're doing really good. Yes, we're all here. Chess, how are you doing? Are you good? Tell us what you do, where you do it, and if you were going to have a snack in the morning, what would it be? This is post-breakfast, though.
Oh, gee. Oh, gosh. Whoa, there's a lot of caveats with this question. Okay, a snack, but not breakfast, but just like a bonus fun morning snack.
Yes.
Sure. Great. Hi, everybody. I'm Rook. I'm doing good today. I'm thinking a lot about this breakfast question now, but I am a variety MMO broadcaster with a focus on Guild Wars 2 and Final Fantasy 14. I'm an Marionette partner and was really happy to be a part of the Seize the Awkward campaign with them. And I have a big focus on just essentially making everybody feel welcome in the gaming space. I'm also a member of the LGBTQIA+ stream team Rainbow Arcade. And I'm all about, focusing on those things that we love about games, but also offering good discussion, critique. And this is a great place for that. So I love getting to talk with all of you when we do the shows. Otherwise, you can find me, twitch.tv, Bird of Chess. You can find me on YouTube, Bird of Chess, and at Bird of Chess on Twitter. Breakfast snack that's not breakfast. Pizza.
I mean, cold pizza in the morning is, yeah.
Cold pizza in the morning. Just maybe really specific and strange, but there's something about it. Maybe my convention years that it feels really nostalgic to me. My ongoing, still existing convention years.
Wait, convention years?
Yeah, you order pizza the night before with everybody else, and then it sits out and it's cold in the morning, and you eat it for breakfast. Am I the only?
What's a convention year?
Cold pizza is so good. Like it's so
which
underrated.
Conventions?
I do a lot of gaming conventions, anime conventions.
Oh, you mean just
you
said I remember when I did conventions. I was like, back in the day, like. I mean,
I was young.
What did you do back then? I mean, are you talking about pre-COVID? I was thinking about university and the fact that the only time I really ate in the morning was when I was wasted the night before because I forgot I'd ordered pizza and couldn't afford to do that. Anyway, yes, an amazing post-breakfast snack and also a healthy breakfast depending on the pizza. Thank you. Bird Chess is here once again. So glad you're here. Always happy to see you. Laranity is back again. How are you doing? Also,
I'm so glad to be here for the second time. I didn't scare you guys off last time. I'm so happy.
Well, you did. I just got super desperate this week. No, I'm joking.
Wow. No.
Laura knows I'm joking.
Not let this stand. Wow.
Hey everyone, my name is Laranity. I like Guild Wars 2. I stream lots of Guild Wars 2. I do other variety stuff as well though. Like recently we've been playing through Guild Wars 1. I literally use like any opportunity to show that I have the boxes. Look, it still has like it was 40 euros when I bought this.
Wow.
I like Guild Wars 2. I stream.
Wait, was it 40 euros?
What? Oh, because
this is back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it wasn't that long back in the day.
Well, I mean,
I mean, it was a little back in the day.
It's like 2006 or something. Yeah, we had Heroes in 2006, didn't we? Yes, we did. Anyway, my name is Laranity. Like I said, I like to stream Guild Wars 2. I do other games as well, and I'm also on YouTube, where I like to make funny compilation videos. I don't really have a good name for it. And I run this amazing music guild in Guild Wars 2 called See My. And we play music, and like it's always a good time. And I'm super glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
And
oh, my breakfast snack.
Can't forget the most important question.
You know those those cheese sticks? Those. I'm like addicted to those.
Oh, like cheese string things.
Well, they're like they're like cooked.
Is it breaded? Is it breaded?
Oh,
mozzarella sticks.
Mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
Those,
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
Wow.
I don't know what this
I
is.
get you.
Maeric, we are way off base.
I know. We were on the same page, but the wrong one. That was the wrong one.
Yeah, but
We're on the
they
same
don't
page.
exist in Europe, really. Don't call them that. They're just like cheese string thing in plastic or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Yeah, and like
Cold pizza is really good though. Like I just have to say that like people underrate that shit. It's like even better than hot pizza sometimes.
underrated.
Thank you
Like
for
when you were like
understanding.
hungry in the morning.
Yes,
Some-
I agree. Jebro, this is why I was so excited to get to talk with Lara and also with Maeric, because they understand me and I just feel very welcome right now in this space.
I'm glad. I'm glad that you feel welcome. Maeric is new to the podcast, first time coming on here, so it's very important that we hear about you and what you do. If you do it on Twitch or YouTube and all the things, and also post breakfast snack, go for it.
I'm the last person you asked, so I had a lot of time to think, and I still can't think of something. My name is Maeric TV. I stream a lot of Guild Wars 2, but like the other people here, I do other MMOs as well. I'm pretty old school. I've been playing MMOs since EverQuest back in the day, and I've basically played every game since. I like to raid in each game that I play. I met my wife in Guild Wars 2 6 years ago. We just celebrated our 5-year anniversary, having met in the old school Lion's Arch of Guild Wars 2. And I've played since the head start since then. So I stream a lot. I stream every weekday, twitch.tv/Maeric TV. Maeric Gaming on YouTube. And my big thing is to try to get people into endgame content. I know it can be really scary. You do lots of training raids to try to make it as accessible and friendly as possible with blue hair.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. I was gonna say the blue is good. I like the blue. If I could...
Oh, and breakfast.
yes, important
let's see.
question.
Okay, so I'm kind of weird. I like to eat meals in order regardless of what time I wake up. So I like to eat breakfast when I get up. But my favorite breakfast thing that I like to do is to get the spiciest Mexican breakfast I can find. That's a weird thing about me. I try to get like huevos rancheros and pour hot sauce all over this stuff. I'm from California, so good Mexican food. That's where it's at.
Jesus, I couldn't do that. That'd destroy me for the entire day. I'd be dead. I'd be like, I can't do this. Awesome. That's cool. So old Lion's Arch, I was about to say, yeah, not the new one, which is like, you know.
SeaWorld?
Yeah, literally, yeah. It was literally what I was going to say. It's like Disney, yeah, it's like SeaWorld in Disney World on the moon. It's weird. It's just weird. I don't know.
I've never heard anybody describe it as SeaWorld, and now it is
Really?
ruined for me.
Of course.
I
no
somehow
one.
have never heard this.
Who is the
here like-
viewership in this chat that's never called it SeaWorld? Like, really?
I love all the nautical buildings and the cool one that looks like an octopus, and they've always been really cute to me, but now all I'm gonna see is SeaWorld, and like all of the little quaggins dancing in that fountain are just sad shamus, and this is just the end for me.
Yeah, but they look, the old
Hold
Lion's
on.
Arch was awesome. Like, it had
I
all
was
the
gonna say,
ships.
we were just watching your stream, Rook, and I heard you say that you've been playing Guild Wars 2 for about 4 years. I want to say that that's the only Lion's Arch you've ever seen with that time
It
frame,
is.
right?
I don't know the
Okay.
other
Other
one.
than
You're right.
story,
Ah,
unless you did the story, the main story, you would have gone
Yeah, I
into...
got like a little
get a
Yeah.
glimpse of it.
taste.
Well,
Yeah.
you never know. You may get to see it because there is some instances of things returning, which we're going to talk about right now. Okay, awesome. Woo! We've just started. it's only 12. It's okay. It's okay. We're on track.
Oh, Maeric, what's your favorite breakfast, Jebro? We need to know.
Oh shit. Okay.
Get out of that.
Jeb's gonna be like healthy granola bars, protein shake.
Actually,
We're over here like cheese sticks, hot sauce on some kind of really hot Mexican food.
Look, okay, I'm 40 this year, and that's no lie. I've got to take care of this youthful complexion I have.
No, you are not.
I am. I'm 40 in December.
Son of a. He told me, he was like, I'm older than you. And I was like, nah, I bet you're not. And he is. I'm actually, I'm surprised.
I'm 40. People say that. And if you say older than 30, then you are banned from my chat. And the podcast forever. But I'm joking.
22. You look 22.
Thank you. Legend. Wow. Promotion. I'm making your camera bigger and making everyone smaller. Wait,
he just got here like 20 minutes ago.
I know.
For the first time ever.
This is the
He's
first
already
time.
promoted.
This is good.
We gotta be careful. We're gonna all be kicked off the podcast. We gotta start complimenting Jen more.
Just 3 minutes.
Oh, I'm having way too much fun. Why do I even organize topics each week? We should just come on and banter randomly. That's what I should do. Oh god, I do have like a shake. Like I do have smoothies every other day, but this morning I actually had an avocado with 2 eggs and some ham. But
Solid.
Better Chest knows me well. It is probably a granola bar, to be fair.
Dang it.
Or a Hershey's bar or something like that. Like sometimes I don't eat too much during the day. But after breakfast, like in stream break snack is normally a granola bar. Yeah. That or chocolate. I'm obsessed with chocolate. I'm sorry.
You should be. How very dare you like chocolate?
The worst.
Right.
What kind of chocolate though? Are you like milk chocolate?
I've got Hershey milk chocolate. Yeah, I've got loads. I have a bit of a thing for Hershey's. I know Americans don't like Hershey's that much, but
I'm a dark chocolate guy. I like
Dark chocolate all the way.
it's better for
It's
you.
got
I
like a
don't
little...
understand. Milk chocolate is just better in every single
Thank
respect.
you,
No!
Laura. This is
Yes,
why Laura's here.
No!
I'm
sweet.
putting my foot down here. I'm dying on this hill. Like
I will
milk
also
chocolate
die
all
with
the
you,
way.
and we will have a
Hell
flag.
yeah!
We'll have a flag
It's
and
sweet.
lots of chocolate. It's actually nice. And bad for you. Dark chocolate's actually very good for you. Just don't like it that much.
That's
that
why
with your
we don't
granola.
like it. We want the unhealthy stuff, you know.
Yeah. Add all that
Well,
crap.
obviously, as somebody who's greatly concerned with my own health, thus the breakfast pizza, I personally eat dark chocolate because of the health benefits and how
Yeah.
responsible I am.
Point. I like your way of thinking there. Right, I'm gonna start the podcast now.
Wait, what, this is a podcast? I thought this was like
something
a
like
food.
Yeah. Well, there are going to be more podcasts about different things, and actually, because you all play different MMOs, I may ask you all back on a future podcast. This is a future plug for a general MMO. Wow, we've got poll going for best chocolate. Reader.
Dark chocolate. Dark
I need
chocolate.
to
Get
vote
everyone
on this.
interactive. It's okay.
Well, Chad is wrong. Chad is 100% wrong.
Wait, is this real?
Don't listen to Lara.
Wow.
Don't. You
Oh,
know
white
it's dark chocolate.
White
That dark
I am-
sultry chocolate.
I need to like get my
Alright.
community in here right now before the poll is over.
I'm like
People.
a 72%er. I like 72% ish dark chocolate. Feel like that's a good round number.
Right, while the poll's going on, and if you're not here, you should be here live on a Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific every 2 weeks, and it's been pretty much on every 2 weeks for the last month or so. So definitely come on by. There is oh god, when was this post? This is a bit ago. But Guild Wars 2 Live Summer 2021, they actually had a roadmap posted, and they did start doing this a little bit about a year or so ago. I can't remember the first one they ever posted, but basically it's got gameplay system, so legendary armor, major balance update. They did the major balance update on May 11th, which was not bad. Living World History Season 2 and free Spotlight, the Twisted Marionette, which is going to be exciting. We'll talk about that as well. PvE events, Fractal and Boss Rush, Dragon Bash Festival, competitive events, Tournament of Legends for SPVP, Tournament Week, and World versus World and PvP bonus events, which is just Call of the Mist, Call of War, whatever it's called in World v World, I can't remember. But yeah, so there's loads of stuff, and also there's an expansion coming, you know? So there's thinking about what you're doing in terms of leveling or getting gold, getting legendaries, buying mystic coins.
LOL, hold on. That gets a little close to the other stuff.
Yeah, I know. I thought I'd just joke about it for a second, and then we'll maybe drop it in later. But yeah, so I mean, just generally, I suppose is a first kind of wondering what everyone's thinking about. I'll start with Bird of Chess as well. When you saw the roadmap, were you excited for this? Were you like, were you like, oh, there's something missing on here, or is it like, you gotta wait?
Well,
What's going?
I actually really.
That's true. Yeah. Go on. Yeah. No, sorry.
Yeah?
What?
Oh,
no. In the post, I forgot to mention as well. Sorry, before you give me an answer, because it's important.
You're fine.
They did announce that there will be a stream on the July 27th as well for a first look of Ender Dragons. So that is part of the post. I will shut up now. Better just go. I'm not going to interrupt. Sorry. I just needed to add that in.
That's okay. That was a pretty important thing to mention. So
It was.
Yeah, well, as we all know, I hate when game news comes out, and I really dislike knowing like the future of the game and what's going to happen. So to me, I felt like this was all disappointment. No, I'm kidding. It was amazing. I mean, I'm super excited. I think so many of us have been hoping for something like this. We wanted to know when we at least could get some information about like what in general should we be expecting? Should we expect that the Expac comes out next month out of nowhere? Should we expect that we have other things in the interim? When are we going to get news? And honestly, I feel really good about this because, one, Twisted Marionette is something that I've wanted to do since I got into the game because, Maeric, like you're saying, I didn't get to do any of that Season 1 stuff. So this is something I've heard a lot about, and I've loved that they've been sort of introducing little bits of it through the Pool of Memories and the recollection sort of system, which I think is so great. So for me, that was really exciting, and I think it's fantastic that they are releasing these living seasons for players to come in, get caught up, get any episodes that they don't have just for free. It's so great, and it feels really good going into that next Expac. And then obviously that big news teaser, and I'm so ready and I can't wait, and I just want to know all the information. So I honestly feel really good about them releasing this, and I think it's a great way to just kind of touch base with the community and say like, hey, this is literally what's going to be happening. And also don't worry, like it seems as though they have plans for really putting this expansion out there, as opposed to it just like coming out in the dead of night and we're all like, what? You know, like I really like that there's more going on.
Yeah, you gotta hope so, at the very least. Although, you know, Mike O'Brien isn't there, so, you know, there isn't more this surprise and delight tactic, which sometimes they like to say. I don't know why I did that. Just hands randomly. But like, I never like that. And yeah, this is a conversation that comes up very often about marketing and all the other stuff. And that's the thing. So yes, by the chess, we do hate knowing stuff about the future. This is true. Very awesome. Awful. Sorry, not awesome. Wow. Sarcasm isn't working today. Really, I'm British. It's supposed to be inbuilt, but you know, here we go. Awesome points. Thank you very much, Better Chess. Maeric, what did you first think about the post?
Like the level of excitement cannot be overstated here. We've been in a sort of limbo, not knowing what's going on with the game for forever. Like we went through a really rough time last year, right? Like a lot of scary things in ArenaNet. This is our favorite game. It was really uncertain. Didn't know what was going to happen, and for the first time in forever, we have a roadmap. We got stuff to look forward to, and there's pretty much something to look forward to for every single person who plays this game. Guild Wars 2 is such a, I think they call it a theme park MMO. There's so many different things you can get into, and you can really only just do that one thing. But there's a ton of stuff on this list for people to look forward to. If they come out and I just want to even know the names of the elite specs. Okay, just the fact that there is an expansion, that it's coming soon, that there's information that's going to be given. This is huge. PvE got a giant balance update. That's literally my life right now. Like I do raids, like endgame PvE content. So this kind of gigantic change is content for me. I already got content. This is brand new content. Everyone in the raid scene and fractals, we're going back to the drawing board, trying new builds, trying new things. I would say that PvP gets a lot of updates that are small and they're consistent. Every couple of weeks, you'll see a couple of notes for PvP, but like the PvE notes get dumped together in this gigantic explosion. So it's really, really exciting. There's so much to be excited about. I'm pumped.
Awesome. Okay. I wish PvP was more consistent and those little updates weren't. We have now put this on the tooltip, but you know. That might be a PvP podcast in the future. Lara.
I cannot agree more with like both you. Like my hype level is just like through the roof right now. I was already like excite us, but now that it feels real, you know, like we have something to look forward to, like a date, and I have like a countdown on my phone. Every time I look on my phone, it's like, it's this many more days till the announcement.
Is it the
There was one
thingy
sad thing,
countdown?
though.
Is it that thingy
Sorry?
countdown? Is it the shaman countdown? I saw.
I have no clue
Or
what
is it
it's
your
called.
own one? Oh, okay. You've just got a countdown on your clock, like a calendar.
Hell yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was something sad though, because I realized I was on vacation. Like, I have a planned vacation exactly during the week of the announcement, and
Oh.
I moved my vacation. I was like, this is the most exciting day of the past 2 years.
Wow.
I need to move my vacation. So I moved my vacation, and I just cannot wait. What really amazed me is that the legendary Armory is releasing a little bit before the expansion and even before the announcement. I thought that was going to be like an expansion feature. And I also think that has like helped a lot in like making people excited, because so many people I know right now are just like, oh shit, I need to get myself some legendaries. I need to make legendary armor. It feels like everyone's just excited, looking forward to it. I just love the vibes in the community right now. It's much better than like, I don't know, like 6 months ago. It's a good time to be a Guild Wars 2 fan, I feel.
Damn. Okay. Moving your vacation. Still having a vacation. Like, as long as you still have a vacation, then it's okay.
I am. I just moved it like 1 week forward. I called them like, yo, can I move it?
That's the week the expansion comes out.
I didn't tell them that was the reason.
Oh god.
Why do you have to move it? Well, there's just like Guild Wars 2 expansion announcements.
It is so hard to explain that to people. Like, I've been doing physical therapy recently, and they always want to chat with me about stuff. And so they're like, what are you doing this weekend? And I'm like, oh, there's some stuff happening. Like, what are you doing? Like, a baby shower and this thing. What was the thing that you're doing? And I'm like, well, expansion news for a new MMO is coming out. So that means every waking moment, that will be my life. And they're like, I don't understand.
What's
how
an
I feel
expansion?
about stuff like this. You're right. Like, yes, I would totally. I think it makes absolute sense that you would change your holiday for that. Like, I probably would too. This is huge.
Can you imagine that though? Like, just like, explaining this to anyone who's not into this kind of
I
stuff.
was actually explaining it to my sister, and she was like, why are you moving it? And I was like, I have obligations. And she was like, you don't want to tell me? And I was like, no, I don't.
My
very
family
important.
recently finally caught wind of my Twitch URL, and they've been passing it around. So, like, every once in a while, I'll get like, "Oh, that's my Uncle Michael in the stream. Why?" Why
Oh no!
They all know.
Oh, no.
I tried to keep it from them for years.
Yeah, my nephew hosts me now after his finished rate of streaming. He's only 14, 15, and he plays like Rocket League and other stuff, and he
I bet you're
raids
the
me in the
cool
morning.
uncle.
Yeah, well, hopefully. Or embarrassing one. Depends what games I'm playing, if he likes them or not. I remember, I think it was about, oh god, it was right around the launch of Guild Wars 2. I think I got him to play, I think it was 7, I want to say. And it was just sitting there, like, you know, couldn't do much. It's mouse and keyboard, but it's like playing Guild Wars 2. Bless his heart. Right, yes, awesome. Okay, so excitement is a thing, obviously. And that's good to have. But also, so we've actually had a couple of things on this kind of roadmap that has occurred. So like you say, you know, Maeric was talking about balance, and for me that's very much content as well for PvP, because there were big changes that kind of went across to PvP as well. Not massive, but there was some stuff, you know, quickness scrapper and things like that.
Yeah.
And I play engineer, and you know, raiding has been very fun recently, making like a quickness scrapper build and being a healer and a tank now. I've tanked some stuff because, like, you know, I can actually do stuff other than just give healing out. And forgot that, you know, and then remembered, oh yeah, I can do might as well, and I can actually do 24 stacks, and that's actually quite cool. And I've got all the fields and all the things, and I can do that, and so that's been really fun, and we've been doing raid training leading up to that, but we'll talk about what we've kind of been doing in the interim as we're going up towards the expansion as well. But we had World v World week. I didn't play that. I don't know if you guys played that at all. Did anyone play World v World bonus week?
No.
I
watched
really
a lot of
wanted to. So busy though.
I know, that's the thing.
Too
right?
much other stuff going on.
Yeah, it wasn't like these are actually happen every year, and they actually happen like not very often, but they actually happen quite consistently. So some of the stuff in this roadmap is kind of stuff that happens anyway. It just happens that it's coming up around, you know, the time they're kind of launching the announcement, which is cool, you know, to coincide with that, because it feels like a lead up. So it's not really anything special or out of the ordinary, you know. It's a good time to start getting those, you know, the gift of battle, I guess, to get the old legendaries. That's my regret,
actually, that I didn't go in and do that. I'm not a big World v World guy myself. I think World v World can be some of the most fun you can have in this game, but it requires like a lot of things to go right. You know, usually like you're in a giant group that's just smushing the little guys who don't have enough people, or you're the little guys being smushed by the giant group. It's like, in order for World v World to be fun, you have to have a decent balance, which I don't invest enough time into do. I wish I did. And Gift of Battle is why I have to go into the realm of World v World, and not getting it while it was double experience is kind of a regret of mine. So I should have done it.
Yeah, I do know at least some new people, or like people that have just been getting into the game, who, you know, went in and were working on their war claw and were able to really take advantage of that. It is one of those things, because World versus World, I mean, I feel the same as you, Maeric, where it's like I tend to focus more on PvE content, raiding, that sort of stuff. And I actually really like the ideas in World versus World. I think it's super fun, and it is like a really unique game mode. But a big thing for me has just been the fact that like the world server's so much like split apart people, and I can kind of shuffle around, you know, a little bit, but it doesn't ever feel like I can group up exactly with who I want to and like go in and do all of that kind of stuff. So it does kind of end up in those situations where, yeah, you kind of just like go in and hope there's enough, like a ton of people there that you can just hop in with, or you're in for a bad time. But sometimes a fun time. Like, putting on tonics or things like that can be enjoyable, or just like goofing around to some extent and seeing how people react can also be fun. So make your own content in your own way, but I didn't take a huge advantage of it this time around. So yeah.
What I actually found crazy is it felt like half my friend list was playing World v World this week. Okay. Like so many people I know who usually never play World v World were actually playing. So I think we're kind of outliers in not actually playing it. That's I feel like lots of people did when they usually don't.
Yeah, lots of people probably did. There was loads going on that week as well. I've just been busy with school, so it's like less time streaming and school stuff, and then I think I was just raiding and PvPing and trying out builds and stuff as well, because it was around the same time, I feel like. Maybe. So that was cool. Beginning next week. Next week's gonna be exciting. Living World, complete the cycle. I'm gonna read this post. Living World is the story of the dragon cycle. Is it now? Dragons in Guild Wars 2.
Okay.
Oh, they got a bit of a bum deal in the end, didn't they? And now is the perfect time to look at everything that's happened on the path that has brought us here. Join the mission to catch up on Living World episodes you've missed for free, and jumpstart your legendary journey in Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons. Legendaries confirmed in brackets. Starting May 25th, Living World episodes will be in the spotlight chronologically. Episodes are free to unlock during this spotlight week, and we'll update them with new achievements. Complete all the new Living World Season 2 and Season 3 achievements to earn a voucher for a Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons precursor weapon. When the expansion launches, you can redeem it and begin crafting your very own 3rd generation legendary weapon. After completing the new meta achievement for all 3 playable Living World seasons and the Armory Saga, you'll receive a legendary amulet as a powerful reminder of your role in shaping Tyrion's destiny. Apparently, I didn't read that bit before. The new achievements and their rewards will be available permanently, so you can always complete them, even if you miss the spotlight weeks. A free legendary amulet?
Yeah, there's a lot in this one announcement. There's so much.
I didn't read that bit. I didn't read that bit before. I'm just like, God Lord, really? Or I forgot. Jesus. They're going to give us a free legendary? Well, I mean, we've got to play this stuff, but that's pretty cool. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, this is like, honestly, I am so excited about this. I know I've heard, you know, a few people mention, it's kind of a bummer if we had to spend money on, you know, buying these. But at the same time, it's one of those things where like they periodically give them away for free. regardless. And honestly, I think that because the game charges so little otherwise for anything, it's like whatever revenue they can get is something that like directly goes to this game to support it. And so like if you have purchased it, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be too upset, right? There's going to be these new achievements that are coming with it. There's going to be these great bonuses that are coming with this. And it makes so much sense right now to do this because so many players with this culmination of this dragon arc aren't going to know the full story, either because they didn't get those living seasons, they didn't have them, they're just starting, they didn't know what living seasons were, they, you know, whatever it is, it's one of those things where like to bring home this whole story, it's a ton of different living seasons and expansions that have covered it. So to give that just for free to the community and to then feature these different ones and add in extra stuff for players that already have them and are doing it, I thought this was such a good move from them. It feels so good, and it really, really is one of those things that I think is going to directly contribute to just fostering the health of the game and bringing more people in leading into this expansion, which could be a huge turning point for the game, you know?
I think it was done perfectly. Like the way that they did that, it really is exciting for new players. And I just want to say, this is a big deal for those of us who are streamers who are welcoming new people into Guild Wars 2 all the time. I'm always trying to get new people in. I'm like, new players, please come ask questions. And I'll see somebody new like, hey, I'm thinking about trying this game. Should I buy it? And the answer is always yes, because Guild Wars 2 is awesome. But this is one of the sad moments that I have. And I'm sure that you guys can relate to this. Somebody buys the game or plays it for free, gets the expansions. Like, dude, I'm loving this. This is so great. And then all of a sudden you have to have that crappy conversation later where they're like, I just got to the end of the personal story. I just realized I had like 82 chapters to buy. And it's actually like a decent amount when you look at it all at once. You're like, that's actually kind of this big hidden cost that is not really great. This is awesome that they're going to be able to go chapter by chapter, get this free every week. And as Rook said, the ability for us old grizzled veterans to have something cool to look forward to anyway, and have a reason to go back and check it out again. I mean, I'm going to be streaming old school Living World content for the first time in a million years, and that is really exciting for me. This is really great.
I 100% agree. I think that you know how sometimes you watch a television show and then you really like it, and then like 2 years later you watch it again because you've forgotten like all the details. That's how I feel about this. I'm like excited to play season 2 again because it has been so long, and also just because the whole community is kind of like excited for it. So I have lots of friends who also want to play them, so there's actually people to play with. I think this is such a smart, like efficient way for them to like add some content before the expansion, right? Because obviously that's their focus right now. They want to give us something to do in between. I think this is genius. It's like, especially season 2 has been so long ago, it almost will feel a little bit like new content, just a little bit, you know, something to look forward to. I'm definitely looking forward to Tuesday. One kind of issue I'm seeing though, like talking about new players and like, you know, getting all the experiencing all the story which took place. It's so sad that season 1 isn't replayable, because even like when you start season 2, you kind of get like thrown in, and there's all these characters which don't get introduced properly because they were introduced in season 1. Like Rook, I'm sure you experienced that, just like going into Living World and then being like, what? These characters.
You're totally right. Like, it's the biggest issue is the fact that like almost all of the NPCs, I mean, like if you've done the dungeons and stuff in the personal story, you at least know a little bit about, you know, like Air and like, you know, the other characters that sort of made up that group and that their story is kind of told through those dungeons. But there's this whole group of characters that are all introduced there in season 1 that it's like you go from the end of the personal story and then you go into season 2 and you're like, who are you? Why are you talking to me like you know me? I feel stranger danger.
Why do you have a pet crab and stuff?
Yeah, and like it's one of those things that as a player I understand, right? Like this is something where they tried something experimental with season 1. I do not think the longevity of the game laid in that, right? Because this is the exact problem that season 1 presented. You literally can't replay important story and moments because it was living, it was in that moment. So old players can't or new players coming in can't go in to experience what old players did. And when you're looking at like the overall scope, replayability, the value you're getting out of your development hours, it was just something that I don't think was going to sustain this game well. So like I get why it is a weird thing. They tried something and you now can't play it. I do truly wish that they had either like redone some of those first introductions in season 2 so that you could like experience them and then get into season 2, or that you could do something where, you know, the little synopsis they have, I just don't think covers it enough. So even if it had been like a slightly longer cutscene that was just like, here's the stuff and these are the people, like something would have helped a little more. You can go on YouTube, you can look up all the other stuff. I mean, I do think it's great that like with the like with the Marionette, you shouldn't. And they could, I mean, they could honestly even just take one of the things that somebody else did in like, you know, a content creator or an ArenaNet partner and like put it in the game. I mean, just something that would help. But all of that to be said, I do think it's really cool that they don't seem to have forgotten that failing. Right? Like we've had with this pool, like we got Canuck's introduction, which I literally I had no idea that's how you met Canuck. And when I went back and played, I was like, wait, hold on. This is where we met this sassy boy? Like I had no idea. And so now to also get Marionette with this lineup, I think that's pretty big. Do I think that it still completely connects all those dots? No. But I'm glad at least they're doing something about it. You know, I hope that it maybe becomes more coherent altogether at some point, or we get all those pieces.
Yeah. It's a good point. It is a good point. There is an air gap, as I like to say, significant, and it's they are trying to do something about that. Like you say, you know, going back to visit the people who were there. I think there's some missing characters. I can't remember actually because it was a while ago since I did that as well, to be fair. But like you say, like a trailer or some kind of like having a ton of cutscenes from that season and creating a mini movie or whatever to set it up for you would be good. Like it would be helpful. Like even just if it's just like, I don't know, play it, like you say, like feature a content creator that's made the content around it, something like that. Like, you know, but I guess, yeah. Well,
you got that cutscene, right? And the cutscene does exist, and it's really, I think they tried their best with that. It certainly isn't enough. And I agree. I want to echo what's said. The idea behind it was a cool one. I actually should just make sure to frame it that we were all excited about it. The idea of a living, dynamic world with stuff that happens and then is gone sounded great to all of us.
Wait, did you play it? Like, did you play that at the time?
No. That was right when I got married, so I missed that whole thing. But I didn't get to play season 1. And I think
sorry.
The problem was,
oh shit, you got married.
yeah.
Congratulations on the marriage. I'm sorry.
In hindsight, maybe no, it was the right call. That was the thing. We were pretty pumped about it. But then I was one of the ones that came back and I was like, oh, now I missed all this content and it's never seeable again. That's actually kind of a bummer. Yeah. And also to echo what Rook said, on a development standpoint, that's not sustainable in any way, shape, or form. You put in a lot of work into something that is going to be gone in 2 seconds, not replayable, not repeatable. And part of the problem is that everyone says, why not just make it again? Why not make it accessible for all of us? And they are trying. The problem is that a lot of the stuff that was happening was literally open world. And so they're trying to, like, I'd love to see if they could go back and encapsulate it a bit just to give it to us. But the question is always like, where does ANET put their man hours? You know, like, are they going to put a huge amount of stuff into that back stuff to close that gap, or are they going to make End of Dragons? And when that kind of question pops up, I don't know. I'm
no one cares that much about the past that I don't want an Expac. That's the problem, right? That's the thing. It's like
it would be so much work. Like, oh my gosh. There was so much stuff in there which was like designed as like open world events which were taking place in specific maps. And again, like we're getting the Marionette, so we're getting some of the cool ones are coming back, which is like super amazing. I'm super excited about that. But like retelling the whole story would be like a huge undertaking. I do totally understand why that hasn't happened yet. It's just it's sad.
I mean, you can still get, I still do love those characters, you know, but there are certain characters where I do feel that like lack of content for them. But it's not like they don't do a great job with them. Once you realize that you're kind of like, oh, I'm hitting the ground running with this group, you start to just kind of roll into it. And it's not the end all be all, right? My kind of hope is that with them experimenting with stuff like Dragon Response missions, right? With this pool that we got, those sorts of things I think have given them tools that if they were to recreate some of these world events and stuff, right? they at least now have a structure in the game where they could do that, and it's like ongoing other stuff that they, you know, have sort of created, where it wouldn't be, you know, like we're having to completely design all this stuff from scratch again to try and do stuff we already did in the game when we're trying to do an expansion. Like, I think that they could maybe piece together some things. I saw in chat people mentioning, like, I wish that they would take those and put them in like the personal story, or like where you'd see a little thing that was like, go play X or go do this at this point or something. And I kind of have hope that, like, maybe when we get a full complete, like, a complete collection of these, that maybe they would do something like that. But right now, as it is, I don't know if they are coherent enough that if a new player clicked on it, they'd be like, "Why am I? It's a big puppet. It's a cave full of traps." Like, I don't think they would understand what was happening.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's true. That's actually true. Yeah, it's the links and stuff, and it makes me think about Elder Scrolls Online. Actually, that just popped into my head, and how they intro any player to the game, and how they're going to be introing people into Blackwood, which is their upcoming chapter, which I luckily got to play early. Because I'm in their partner program like ArenaNet, so I'm lucky I played that before release, and their intro I can talk about it thankfully as well. So they do their game very differently. Like, you can play any map you want to play, and you can just jump in every time they release an expansion, which is every year. Yes, every year. It's smaller. It's pretty ridiculous how much they actually release content. And now you're going to be able to literally walk into this room. And sorry if there's many spoilers for this, because it's just a tutorial. There's loads of portals everywhere, and you can just go where you want. You can start in any chapter you want. You can start even at the beginning. You can go straight to Greymore, which is like West Skyrim. You can go straight to, the Oblivion content, which is going to be Blackwood.
Oh, you're talking about when they make a new character. When you make a new character in the game? Yeah, this is the
brand new tutorial, which is coming out, yeah. Did
I
just spoil the game for you?
Every time they ever come out with an expansion, they make a new like intro into the game for that expansion content. So if you make a new character at the time that the new expansion Morrowind has come out, you make the character in a very specific intro storyline for Morrowind.
Well, they're changing it now.
But now they're making it so you can choose.
Exactly.
Right? Now you can choose between any of them, which is actually kind of cool.
It's very good. And that will be their tutorial forever. And they have a very, very, very... they have a tutorial where they explain all the mechanics and everything, and then they kind of say, you can go here and experience this, and they give you the story, and the story is very sectioned in regions, and then you can kind of play however you want to play it, and it kind of makes sense in different places. And depending on if you've met NPCs previously, they'll be like, oh, I remember you in that pub down the road, and let's go kill some shit. And if you didn't meet him in the pub down the road, they won't talk about it. So there's all these ways of doing it, I feel, and there are other games that are doing it. Final Fantasy 14, you just play through the game. You just play through it.
The most linear story that has ever been made. It's chapter to chapter. It's exactly that way.
I mean, that's it. I don't know.
It's interesting with Guild Wars too, because technically you have the freedom to go, right? You can hop into once you reach that point, you can hop into either of the expansions. You can get your mount before you do anything else, right? But it was funny because I heard people talk about that, and my initial thought was, it must be like ESO, where it's much more episodic. It's non-linear storytelling, right? And I think they handle that really, really well in ESO. But Guild Wars 2 really is not non-linear. And it is a linear narrative, right? It has a clear beginning, progression, and building action with everything that's happening. So, again, right? When we come down to this discussion, and I'm sure people will still be talking about it, about them choosing to do these living season weeks, right? Where it's oh, well, now we're going to offer these for free, or we're going to do these things. To me, it just makes so much sense. Because, Maeric, like you pointed out, when you're getting new people into a game, you never, ever, ever, ever want to have to be the but person. You never want to have to do that, because it does.
What if you
the
like
person
butts?
Where you say, so if you like butts, that's a different kind of butt. That's the different kind of butt.
Of chess, Rook.
I like different butts. This is a different butt.
Oh, this is a different butt. All right, no, it's not double T. It's just one T.
Only 22.
Okay, I'm sorry. See, there you go. Thank you.
No, it's just
welcome to the podcast, Maeric. It's gonna get worse. Sorry, carry on.
It's something that creates an immediate wariness, where they're kind of going oh, the game is free, it has no sub, great, wait a minute, but they're gonna make me pay for patch content. And having played through it and played a lot of other MMOs, I do think that the living seasons in Guild Wars 2, honestly, to me, are worth the money because they are more like miniature expansions. They are not just like patch content. Like the maps, the content, the farms, the mounts, the stuff, the achievements that you get, they are like features that tend to come out more with expansions in MMOs than you usually see in patch content. Like in Final Fantasy XIV, we get no new maps. We get no. We get like some new content, we get, the raids, we get other things, but you don't get new explorable zones. You don't get a lot of this stuff, right? And I mean, I love 14, I love ESO, I love all these different games, but Guild Wars 2 gives you a lot for those. However, getting new players in at a crucial time when a new expansion is coming out, when we really need to see this be a big success for the game, I think to continue. I mean, like, I think the game's in a good place. This isn't to sound doomsday-y. It's just that these kinds of releases can be really huge for the futures of games. And so I think even if we are a little bit like about it being given away for free, at the same time, to be able to say to players, come in, get these, get into it, that is only guaranteeing the future of the game for all of us, You
have to do that. You have to. You're so right. It's so true. Like there is this I feel I feel for the people that obviously have to pay a little bit of money before the actual thing comes out. Is it 400 gems per episode or something? I can't remember. I think it's 400. I want to say 400. Someone check. I think
it's quite a bit less actually. Isn't it like 200 or something?
I think it might be.
Now you can buy the whole season at once.
So it's $2.50. And how many episodes average? 5, 6 per season? So what? You're
something
paying...
Like that.
Wow. $15 maybe tops then. And also they do promotions as well. Actually no, $10, like maybe $10-12, depending if they did an extra one, whatever. For like the season. So then if you think about it in terms of all the seasons, it's like $40-50. And there are also promotions, and so it's not going to break the bank, it's still money. Problem about Guild Wars 2 is, and this is my own little gripe, I think maybe the players in Guild Wars 2, because they get so much for free, there is a little bit of an issue of money and paying money for stuff that is, in the game. There is something,
Like extra resentment from our community about paying for a game that they play? The answer to that is yes.
I love everybody, and I get it. Like, right, a lot of people do play Guild Wars 2 because it is a game that offers a lot for very little. And I have friends who, lost their jobs, started playing Guild Wars 2. Money is not always something that is, like a flippant thing, but it is funny to me that out of all the communities that I love you all so much, it does seem like
keep going.
It does seem like Guild Wars 2 tends to be more apprehensive or resentful about it.
That's better.
Which is always surprising to me when I compare it to other games that I spend an obscene amount of money in. And like ESO, I love ESO, but that game is a trap. I will play it. I love it. And they're doing some things to help rectify particularly loot boxes and stuff, right?
Yep.
But, every game when it comes down to it has to earn money. How they do that and what they demand of players is important to look at.
Shock.
But it's something where I think we can't foster resentment about choices like this unless it does get to the point where yes, it is pay to win. Yes, it is something that is truly degrading the game, community and quality and stuff like that.
What's the biggest, because there's a flip side to this, because it's an interesting dynamic. Guild Wars 2 players definitely, because the game's been around for 9 years, it's accumulated a very particular kind of player base that is the one that cares the most about not having to pay for anything, right? But what is the biggest complaint about Guild Wars 2 is the content drought, right? We've alluded to it this whole time, right? We've talked about Final Fantasy's release schedule. Someone in Rook's chat before we came here asked, does Guild Wars 2 have the same kind of content release schedule that Final Fantasy 14 has? And Rook very sweetly had to be like, not really. And of course we don't have that. In ESO, we heard from Jebro a moment ago that it's every year there's an expansion, and then in between there's 87. Every time I look back at that game, I got to download a patch because they've had some sort of content. So that's where money goes, it's hard to have both, and we want both. We want a lot of free stuff and then also a lot of content, but it's sort of It is an interesting dynamic from game
Well,
to game, depending on how they do that.
We've had this
I do
conversation.
actually.
Sorry, go, Lar. Go.
I do actually think that like one of the issues about like buying these Living Vault episodes is just because a lot of new players don't really understand this. I feel like a lot of people they buy the expansion and then they're like, now I can play the story, and then they realize that this Living Vaults thing exists and there's something before that expansion.
Yeah.
I remember when like the Steam release was like supposed to come out, I think it was in like November or something. Lots of people were like talking like there should be like an ultimate edition or something like that. Like the version you buy that just has all Living Vault content up till now included. I think that would be a fantastic thing to do.
Yes.
It's odd that it
like-
doesn't exist now that you say it.
Yeah, it's strange.
I think they're going to give it away for free in the future.
You
all
think
of it.
that would be even better?
They are. They're definitely
mean,
going to do that. And the dragons, I think, maybe. I think, or post, in the near future, they're going to do it. It's going to go for free. They are. I think this is a teaser because I think it's important. It's an important part of the game now that it's needed. Like they should. I think they will, and if they don't, I think that's a mistake.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
and
does
I mean-
include like Heart of Thorns for free with Path of Fire, so it's like strange that you
Exactly.
get Heart of Thorns for free, but you don't get season 2 for free, which is like even older.
Yeah, you don't
So
get the lead
weird.
up to the story for free.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah,
odd.
yeah.
It's very
Well,
odd.
I mean, it's also just counterintuitive to so many other MMOs on the market, right? Which is also why I think they're giving this away for free. As we've talked about, it creates a weird problem because in most other MMOs, you get patch content for free. However, like I said earlier, what you get in Guild Wars 2 is different than what you get in a lot of other MMOs when it comes to patch content, right? So it's something where, like, once I realized the full scope, I felt good about it. But like we've covered, it does create these weird hangups. However, it's something about like the overall structure of the future of the game, right? Guild Wars 2 has longer gaps between expansion releases. And I will say with ESO stuff, I want to clarify because yes, they get expansions every year and they actually are super cool, but they actually break them up into like episodic releases. And they do, it's interesting because the way that they kind of do it is almost closer to how people were theorizing Icebrood Saga would be a change for the future of Guild Wars 2 when it came to Expac releases. These like section hunks where you get like a hunk of story and a new map, and then the next hunk of map and story. And then like there's a ton of stuff that goes on in between that, but it's not like every single year they're getting a full expansion drop all at once and all this stuff. Like it's just a different model. So I want to clarify that.
They don't
and
call it
with that-
expansion either. They call it a chapter, and there's reasons behind that. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
and like, I honestly think it's cool. I think it works well. But Guild Wars 2 has this like future discussion, right? Do we keep doing these like longer breaks between expansions with more robust patch cycles that are almost like miniature expansions? Or do we shorten the scope of that and try to do more expansions? We have no idea. We don't know. We don't know what they're thinking, but it could be something where, you know, in the future, if they decide to start giving away these past living seasons, it could be something like a future shift to a tighter release schedule, or, you know, doing less in the living seasons because we're getting X-Packs more, or vice versa, you know? They could do anything with this. And I think when it comes down to it, they have to integrate it a little bit better. Laranity, like you said, I think that would be a brilliant idea. Like, make it so that all of those come together in an ultimate, or make it so that people understand that they're in there from the get-go. But if they don't want to go that way and they want to switch the way that they're developing and the way that they're releasing, and they can feasibly do that, then we might see those become free, and we might see a shift in how living seasons are realized.
How about a Guild Wars 2 10-year anniversary physical collector's edition ultimate?
You just want to collect
Yes.
this.
Yeah, I could buy it. Put it up here, please. I really want one.
I mean, maybe I should have that stream as well. We can talk about what's in it. Okay. Right. Well, yes. Loads of stuff. Oh my god. There's so many things. Oh god, random Spotify playlist in front of everyone's faces. Yeah. There's loads of thoughts and feelings about this. I think this is basically the best time for you to get into the game and get living world story stuff for free. So if you know people who are playing this and haven't touched the game for a while and they haven't got these episodes, tell your friends, because it's a good time to do that. It will be next week. And leading up to the expansion, obviously good times to play the game, because there's loads of stuff to play and episodes and things to catch up on. I loved the story leading up to Heart of Thorns, so I'm excited to kind of... It was season 2 that was leading up to Heart of Thorns, right? Was it 3?
Yeah, those two.
They're both coming anyway, so it doesn't matter. But that was good. Like, it was quite violent, actually. There was actually a lot more, like, aggressive violence and, like, you know, spikes and tentacles and stuff coming, like, just going through people. I'm not talking about that. And like, someone's gonna say it in the chat. But there's like, you know, it's cool. It's cool. It was nice. Like, you know, you going into dry top and all these different areas. Like, that's when they shoved you into these places. And I don't know. It was a good. I actually did enjoy Living Wild season. Yeah, exactly. And so I'm excited for that. I mean, I'm like, I'm not the biggest fan of the story in Guild Wars 2, if I'm honest. I think it's a good general story. Yes. I think the well, I enjoy every single thing I played. I enjoyed the dragon story. I actually really enjoyed it, and like many people didn't because the end story. And we talked about that last time we actually had a podcast. But so I enjoyed the story for what it is, but you know, the main content for Guild Wars 2 is the combat and it's the challenge, and that's just what I enjoy.
The combat system in Guild Wars 2 is easily its flagship aspect, its attribute. If I were to compare all MMOs, I'd give a lot of strengths and weaknesses for all games. I don't actually dislike the story in Guild Wars 2. I think it goes through dry spots that are not so great. We were talking just a moment ago about that chapter around Heart of Thorns and the whole dry top thing. Like, I hated the whole dry top and all the. I forgot all the. I block it out. I don't like that story at all. But the big draw point to Guild Wars 2 is the combat system, which can manifest itself in either raids or PvP, right, or World v World, and that's where to me that's its biggest strength. It's so good, and it's jumping mechanics, because holy crap, ESO's got some great stuff, but maybe the worst jumping physics I've ever seen in a game in my life.
It's like, you know, you kind of get to the end of the jump and then it's like. You're waiting for him to fall.
You're jumping on the moon.
Yeah,
it's like you buttered your entire body up. You're just so oiled, and then you go to jump on something, you just slide right off of it.
You can't do jumping.
And we all know that the true end game in Guild Wars 2 is jumping around in like Divinity's Reach. So like, I don't understand how any game can compete with Guild Wars 2. Like, the jump is just too good.
Jump on boxes in the aerodrome. That's 50% of my stream content.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I don't know. Final Fantasy 14 Lalafell jumping is pretty awesome, if you ask me. I mean, they do star jumps. I mean,
their actual jump animation is good, but the actual jump puzzles in 14 are infuriating.
I know, I did one recently on stream, and I was like, I can't do this then for everyone. I can't. And I just kept trying. What is it? It was those things in the casino where you go and do that.
Yeah.
I did that one. The saucer thing.
Yeah.
Well, when the first time I went there, I was just like, what am I doing in my life?
Jeb, just never try the Kugane Tower. Just don't ever try it. I did that one. I went there and did all the JPs in Guild Wars 2. I've been really excited. There's only, I think, like 2 that we haven't done. And I tried to do Kugane Tower for 6 hours one day. I literally could not get to the top. And that night, my husband logged in and completed the whole thing and didn't stay up there so I could teleport to them. And we've never spoken since.
I mean, he is just trying to teach you a lesson. You know, he's not trying to carry you through life. You know, sometimes you've got to achieve these things on your own. Okay, Rook.
I know. I tease them about this, and they're always like, "That's not even how it went." No, it's not.
You have this big anniversary party. There's like hundreds of people there, and you're like 50th wedding anniversary. I remember back in the day when he did teleport me up to the jump puzzle.
No. to go back.
Sorry, you sound like an old English lady.
I do. That's how I will sound when I get old. I know it. Exactly. I had a vision. So
wow.
To go back,
Vision.
I want to be an advocate for the story in Guild Wars 2 because I actually really do. I like the combat. I like the mechanics. However, I think it took longer for me to resonate with that coming from other MMOs than it did the story. And I admit, sure, there are parts of the story, just about any story, where it gets a little bit dry, no dry top pun intended. I mean, I even liked a lot of dry top, but there are definitely
dry top
parts.
Story was dry. You could have done better with that. I'm not gonna lie, you could have done better with that, but I'll allow it. I'll let it slide.
Like, I'll work on it. I'll keep trying to.
There could have been a good pun there. I'm disappointed. This is you. You are very good at puns normally.
No, I actually
upset.
like Dry Top. I like Dry Top pretty well. But I actually liked all the story pretty well, and especially season 2 on. Like you said, things picked up in a way. Things picked up in the action, it started to click for me how they do dynamic storytelling in Guild Wars 2. It started to make sense to me how a lot of the instances tell so much about how I should stop and like listen to different NPC groups, about how I should navigate the world as if it's a living thing. And I really did appreciate and love that. And like, I am a huge fan of the dragon stories. Like living season 4, probably a huge highlight for me in this game. I cried, I laughed, I screamed, I was in the pits of despair. I cried some more. I loved it. I love fantasy.
Is this
I love
on
the
a
world.
live stream somewhere or?
Yes, I believe it's even in the that clip compilation that they did after the Aurene shenanigan. I think it's even in the official ArenaNet clip compilation.
Oh my god, that is just...
Because Arene's my girl and I would die for her. So I love it. And I think that it's something about this game that really does shine for me. And it's been interesting to see, I think, that sort of conflict between really mechanically minded players and story invested players, and how sometimes it feels as though we are in conflict with one another, like if some kind of story content comes out but raid content doesn't, or some kind of thing, you know, because to me, I love the whole package and I love everything in it. But the story is something that I think is really fun and really, it's unique. I mean, I love a good, unique fantasy world. So I want to be an advocate for that. And in the sense that I think that it's been really good for the game's longevity to continue investing in story, because while the mechanical stuff is fantastic, and I think there's a lot of stuff to talk about bigger with that too, right? For me, the story is something that resonates with players for years to come. It's something that carries people through when maybe they're still looking for other answers in the game. So I love it, and I think it's great.
And more players, right? Let's be clear. I think that the average player of Guild Wars 2 is not a raider, not a hardcore PvPer. Like the vast majority of Guild Wars 2 players are people who enjoy open world, living world story content that is story driven. They know their audience. They absolutely do. Just friendly reminder, it's been over 2 years since we've had a raid wing. It's been a long time.
That's not happening.
So
They're gone.
Those of us in raid.
They're done. They're done with raids. They're done.
Yeah, it's a sketchy place to be. So I know that ArenaNet is not catering to me. They're catering to somebody who's streaming open world meta events and having a good time with the story content. I do like the story, and I'd just like to say that glowing review you just got from Rook is from a Final Fantasy 14 main, which brags to be the biggest most glorious storytelling that has ever existed in an MMO. So that's pretty good.
True,
I'm just gonna say.
That's true. Yeah, they're all.
My wife is obsessed with Final Fantasy 14, by the way. That's her jam. She lives in it.
There you go.
I mean, I love many MMOs. 14 it shines in its own way, you know? There's so many good things to praise, but I think that what Guild Wars 2... Yeah, I think what Guild Wars 2 does is unique. And I think the way that it tells that story is something that's worthwhile. So yeah, I mean, getting more story and having these gaps or things in these kind of moments, or having these living seasons that carry so much important story. Gosh, you literally, like, I can't imagine playing this game, like, I'm gonna be honest, without playing the episode where you get Aurine's egg, or playing the whole season, or playing the season where you have everything that happens with Kralkator. Like, how would you know what was even happening? You wouldn't. So they should just be included as like a part of the entire story, I think, at this point.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's just been, it's too much has happened where you're like, if that is their audience, they need to include these things, and this is why they're doing it, because they need. This is why, you know, this is part of the roadmap, because people need to understand this stuff, and also it's good filler. It's good filler because 27th of July is the announcement of when the expansion is going to be. My prediction has always been kind of September, actually. And that is still looking like it's very much going to be the case, because announcement, they're not going to say the expansion's coming out next month. There's no way that's going to happen. It's September or post PAX West, because PAX West, now if they have, this is another show maybe, this is probably more like the day of the release, of the future look on the 27th, but this is like whether or not PAX West is going to happen. I don't actually know if PAX West is happening this year. There's been, as far as I know, there's not any news of it, and I live in Seattle, so that's going. It's scheduled. Okay, so thinking about this and when they normally do cool stuff around PAX West, I think that they are going to. It was either going to release around then, which is normally end of August, early September, or they're going to have like a big show about it there. So I reckon there's going to be something happening there. So this is why I think it's going to be later. So there's a lot. There's still time. I know the year goes quick, but like if there's going to be a PAX West, like there's going to be something about that. So we'll have to see. But yes. Oh, let's go over to. Let's have a look. Actually, I was going to show you the trailer for the release next week. Ooh, I'm going to go and change over to it. Give me a sec.
It's a good trailer. I really like the trailer.
Make sure I've actually got the audio up for this as well. Whoa, fuck. That's loud. Ooh.
I don't think there's sound. I don't think they can hear. Yeah, but I bet it looks great.
I see Rook talking as well without sound as well.
Oh gosh, I'm
wait,
muted.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, nobody could hear anything. I was saying we're gonna have to do some sort of live reenactment of the audio of the trailer and put some sound effects in.
Oh, no one can help.
Sound effects.
Wow. Pew, pew, pew.
Whoosh.
Oh, no one could hear the actual. No one could hear the sound from the thing.
Nobody can hear the sound of the trailer.
Oh, sorry.
Eric tried to help.
Sorry. All right, let's do it again. Yay! I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I can hear the sound. I was like, oh, this sounds so good. Let's do it again. Yay! Can you hear it now? Sorry, everyone. Everyone in the audio is just like, why has everything gone quiet? All right, sorry about that. I'll have to cut. No, I don't want to edit. That's boring. Sorry, audio people. You didn't just lose connection for a while. It was me being a pleb. I didn't have the sound up. My bad. This is the we're showing off the not expansion trailer. Wow, there is no expansion trailer. This is for the 25th of May release for one of the episodes. It's coming out very soon. All the episodes, sorry, they're obviously out already, but all the achievements and all the stuff we kind of talked about earlier. So go and watch the VOD or just Google it if you want to watch it itself. But like I said, there's loads more. It did become a lot more violent, that's for sure. Like I said, I keep calling them tentacles, but what are they? They're just
tendrils.
Tendrils. Vines, yeah. That makes more sense.
Sounds like
part of a tree. I'm sure they have tentacles. Uncover Tyrion's Secret Path Season 2 available 25th May to June 22nd. So that is almost a month of.
Dude, I'm hyped. Does that trailer get you hyped to do this? I'm like pumped to go back. I haven't done this in a long time. This content. That's pretty exciting.
I mean, that's 6 years ish. No, longer. 7. Maybe. Yeah, about that much.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's been a long time. Crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I loved all of that build up into. I mean, it also gives you a little bit of a at least retroactive look at Scarlet and some of the stuff there that I think might be important down the road, and the bridging the gap into Heart of Thorns, and like with Sylvari, right? We see the tentacles, as you've been calling them, or Mordremoth vines. Is it Mordremoth's tentacles?
Mordremoth's tentacles.
There we go. Which was all part of what was sort of like the undercurrent of what was to come, right? Yeah. So I thought this was a great season, and it really did get me hyped leading in. And I'm excited to revisit it too. I agree with you, Maeric.
It'll be fun.
I think
I'm also
sorry,
I'm
go on.
also excited about the new achievements. Like I actually went and did all the achievements for all these episodes back in the day. So I literally have like zero reason to replay it, but there's something new, you know. It's not just
Yeah.
releasing them. There's something new for you people who already played this like 6 years ago. I'm excited
Rewarded
too.
if you do all the achievements. That's where you get the precursor for Gen 3.
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
you need to do all of them.
I mean,
Apparently,
big actual incentive to go back. That's awesome.
it's gonna be. I'll read the blurb they did as well, and I get what you're talking about, chat. Like everyone's saying that. Well, not everyone. 140 people. People are saying, you know, you're not really sure what's going on, and I think the trailer is very much. I don't think this is marketed at new players. Funnily enough, that trailer is not. It doesn't feel like it's marketed at new players. It feels like it's marketed at the people who are playing the game currently, because of, like you say, you don't know what is going on. You literally have no idea. But the thing is, the art style and the music and the combination of different scenes and stuff is enough to get someone excited. I feel like. I don't feel like that trailer is directed at the brand new player, but I think it gives them a little bit of information about the stuff they could see in the episode, because I think it could be kind of spoilery as well. Maybe I think that you have to do that kind of thing very carefully. But you know, I kind of see what you're saying. But Scarlet is also one of my favorite baddies in the game's history, because she's awesome. So Scarlet Briar still casts a long shadow over Tyria. Lion's Arch lies in ruins. Lion's Arch event is one of my favorite things that's ever happened in this game, along with Marionette. Like, that was so good, and like going all to the old zones as well, and going like killing all of her minions and stuff. It was so cool. Like, it's just the whole thing was actually really, really good. Lion's Arch lies in ruins, and the survivors struggle to reclaim what's left of their lives so they can start anew and build a massive octopus. But while Scarlet's enormous airship drill, the Breachmaker, was destroyed, it may have already served its purpose. Track down what Scarlet left behind and discover whether her death was truly her defeat. And then it goes, complete the cycle, return to Living World Season 2. Guild Wars 2 Living World spans years of storytelling, revealing the secrets of Tyria's past and how they'll shape its future. This summer is a perfect time to catch up on anything you've missed. In the role of the commander, you'll be a crucial figure in the story of the Dragon Cycle, leading your allies with wisdom, grace, good humor, and a willingness to dive headfirst into situations with an estimated 18% survivability rate. We believe in you, in brackets. Good lord. Beginning May 25th, who wrote that? Beginning May 25th, we'll spotlight 2 episodes of Living World Season 2 each week. In chronological order. Log in during the week to unlock the episodes for free. As the episodes enter the spotlight, we'll update them with new permanent achievements you can tackle at any time. Complete all the new achievements to progress towards legendary rewards. Check out Guild Wars 2 Live, Summer 2020 overview to learn more, which is what we talked about earlier. So yeah, that is the part of it. So I'm actually kind of glad they're coming out with that. Like, it's staggered, because otherwise you'd just be like, there's so many achievements to do. So I'm kind of glad about that, actually. But it's still like every week, so that's actually a lot to. I'm wondering if they've updated them at all, if they've done anything with voice, or if they've done anything with anything like that. It's probably just achievements, I'm guessing.
No. But
Aren't
I
they
am
even
excited
doing,
they're going to leave them permanent, though. The new achievements are going to be permanent achievements. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, they have to be, right, for the legendary the voucher thing. I guess that's what I'm confused about, and we'll find out more about that as that kind of appears. But what do you guys think? Like, what do you think this voucher is? Like, what does it replace? Like, what is it giving you? It's for a precursor, right? So it's just like you hand in the voucher, and it's like, well, you can have any of these precursors. Like, and is it just
voucher is the word? So I'm assuming that's what it is. You'll probably get to choose which one you do, and since it's a whole new generation of them, there's going to be every weapon. I mean, that's one of the most exciting things happening right now,
this
dude.
is the thing I was going to say, Maeric. Like, this is the problem. It has to be, doesn't it? Because otherwise people are going to be pissed. They're going to be pissed. They're going to be like, well, I kind of wanted that fit. Like, you know, I mean, I don't use that anything for my main class, because they didn't release every weapon for Gen 2. Well, I mean, Heart of Thorns.
They did them in phases, right?
Yeah.
Like 3
Yeah.
first.
And I guess you can keep it, but Gen
I guess
3
they might still do that, right? They might still go like, yo, we're releasing these now. Keep your voucher if you want the great sword, because that one is coming in like 6 months or something, right?
They give a
I
glimpse
think
of
it's
them all
exciting
first.
though.
Sorry, I just.
I think currently something which we've got, speaking about legendaries, is if you want to make a Gen 2 legendary, you can either go the Heart of Thorns routes or the Path of Fire routes. In practice, for me at least, I always do the Heart of Thorns one because that one, for me, is like faster and I've done it a million times. So it feels super easy.
You mean the collection stuff?
Yeah, this
is
is
it
not really for the
quick?
precursor, but it's for the gift of like the deserts, or you can go for the
Yeah.
gift of the jungle.
I've never done one.
I really hope that this new generation is like End of Dragon specific,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I want those new maps to feel like super active. You know, I want people to purely go in and focus on those, and not just go play Heart of Thorns. I want them to do the new stuff, so that feels populated. And I think this is a great way because people are already working on this, which means you're kind of dedicated. You already got the precursor. You might as well go and do the rest of the legendary, right? I think this is genius.
So you want are you saying you want the collection type stuff in End of Dragons or the newer generation stuff? Okay.
Exactly.
I'm gonna destroy all your hopes and say that's definitely not gonna happen.
You think so?
No, it won't. I'm sorry. It
So
just
you skip to
won't.
the jungle or get to the desert?
They've already explained that it was too much work for them. It was way too much effort.
No, I'm not talking about the precursor collections. That's like the thing they stopped doing.
So you're talking about
I'm
the
talking-
gift of. Oh yeah,
I'm
that's
talking about like the
easy.
gift of the desert or the gift of the jungle.
Okay, I was like,
Right now you can pick.
don't wanna-
I want this to be like you need the gift of Canva or something like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be good.
I mean,
Almost devastated just now. It's like, oh no, Marionette partner Jebro just confirmed we're not gonna.
No, I mean we know that it's not going to happen. Like those old collections are very awesome. I've not really done them before, but I still want to go and try them out. But like everyone loved them that did them, and it's very disappointing for people that that's not going to be the case again, because that was like a journey to get the weapon rather than just, I've got some gold. I'm going to buy that thing for a bit, and do
Couldn't
some
agree
stuff.
more.
It's just
It's like questing, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a quest. It's kind of a quest. I see achievements as quests. Achievements is a very, very minimal way of putting quests in the game. It really is. And it's like, it's unfortunate in a way, but it does mean that they don't have to have loads of voice actors input. But it's just a very, very good alternative because they don't call them quests, but they are. And because this is the way you can get more items, you can get more gear, you can get more, mastery points, you can get different things. Again, it's my point of view, so it's not necessarily correct, but it's pretty close to. But I think Lara, yes, you're right. I think that would definitely happen. It should do. It did in Heart of Thorns. There's no reason why they couldn't do it again. It has to be very specific. It does, and also it will sell the expansion. So it has to do that. It really does, because otherwise, there's no incentive. There has to be incentive to get these things. There's elite specializations already. Yes, good. That's awesome. PvP, they will be ridiculous for a while. World v world, raids, every piece of content, they will be overpowered as hell, because that's what MMORPGs do. They put that stuff in, it is powerful and strong, and then they bring it down. It's just always the way it is. Whether or not it's intentional, that's another discussion and probably an entire podcast episode in itself. And they will do that. Like it's going to have elite specializations. It's going to have like the legendaries, like you say. And it sounds like the legendaries are going to be a real big selling point of this expansion. And because otherwise there isn't much else. And I'm not saying that it's not enough for a lot of people, because there's still new story, new maps, legendaries, elite specializations.
New elite specs.
Yeah, exactly. And other things. But we're not sure yet. The last expansion had mounts. The one before that had gliders, new ways to travel, traverse, and we're going to camp, we're going to back to, Guild Wars specific stuff. I mean, I haven't done factions, no. We will be. But there is just forward.
It's staring at you.
I've
Maeric.
got the box. I've got the box as well. It's in the other room.
I want it.
But I think that there is going to be something else which is going to be massive for the expansion that we have no clue what is going to be. And what is it going to be?
You mean from like gliding in HOD mounts and POF? You mean like the big change
what's
for
the
us?
next thing that is going to be a
I
big
have
thing?
figured
Underwater.
this one out.
Oh, Laura knows. Laura knows.
Oh, please share.
I
Give
don't
us
think
the-
underwater. I made a whole video about this actually, where I was speculating about this.
Where is it? Link it.
I think it's gonna be climbing. You know, like Breath of the Wild, where you like climb on the walls or something. That's the only thing I
Climbing?
can come up with. That's like traversal. I
Laura.
like. I realize this is very unrealistic, but if this turns out to be true, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, Laura, you are like an oracle."
But-
Like Breath of the Wild,
What?
stop climbing. That's it. Climbing on the walls.
You've got a mount. Why would you climb? I don't know,
Like,
Laura.
wouldn't
I'm
that-
not sure about this one.
no
I'm not
for the
confident.
sky scale mobility.
gonna
I
feel
don't
like-
know.
That is after some mount usage, right? It would be interesting how they would have to do that.
I'd have to tell a story, that's for sure.
There was actually a scrapped mount, which was going to be a spider.
Yes.
Spider,
The
yeah.
spider was going to like walk on the walls.
Do you know why
So,
they didn't
yeah.
bring it into the game?
Arachnophobia.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
That is exactly
Which is
why.
good because I'm arachnophobic. I want to climb without having to look at a spider.
They made
Yes.
that one story mission where you fight the giant spider that eats you and walks around with you in its stomach for a while. Like that one, I had to do it for my wife. She couldn't do it. She couldn't play it. Absolutely had to walk
Wow.
over to her computer and complete that whole
But
mission.
the spider looks so
So-
good. They should put that in the gem store or something. I don't know.
Oh
I
my
liked
gosh.
it. It looked good.
I mean, yes, I think that if we're thinking in line with other stuff, right? Boats have been tossed around. I've also seen even just
Oh,
individual.
you're the boat
customizable-
person, aren't you? I remember having this conversation before on the podcast.
Somebody on the internet, I don't know who it is, has been saying,
Rook,
I
the boat
heard
person.
boat.
Rook, the boat person.
Boats, which could also, have some kind of new game mode or something where you have like these boat battles, or we have that drinking game that you can do, which I think has always been a
Yeah.
fun one. So like stuff like that, I think could be fun if you had your groups and they did stuff kind of, I don't know, Sea of Thieves-esque.
Oh,
that
that's
could be kind of
exactly what was
enjoyable.
going into my head. Wow.
Boat versus boat is the new game mode. Everyone.
Boats versus boats. It'd be so good.
I mean, arcade chat boats. Just saying.
But I mean,
I'm there for it, dude. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
it'd be
absolutely.
good. Individualized customizable housing, I think, would be something that would fit absolutely within the market, like with the other MMOs and things that we have, and scribing
to
and
happen.
furnishing. Like, it would also just open up more things they could offer as rewards for stuff, right? Like additional
Sure,
furnishing
sure.
and all sorts of stuff. So that to me would make sense. But all of that to be said, I'm really hoping that we get something, right? Like we have these features that we're looking forward to. But I'm really hoping that we get something that is like new, like a new hunk of some kind of content, some sort of new thing. I mean, I am also holding out hope, Maeric, that we get some raids that are dropped with this.
What?
I am hoping so much that they give us at least a few or
That's a
something.
dangerous hope to hold on to.
I know.
Just
I'm
don't.
gonna do it.
I'm with
Take
you.
care.
I believe in this as well. I'm with
Okay,
you.
Laura and I will be holding the torch, and everybody else will be proven wrong when it does come out.
Yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
I'm not even gonna talk about it.
This expansion is
no.
going to be
Hey, that's
raids,
harder
boats,
tempo.
and
I'm just
climbing.
like, guys,
That's it.
we gotta get over this. We gotta go over this. Raids are done. They're done with this. They're
Shadow dreams
absolutely
again,
done.
Jumbo.
They're absolutely done. If they come out with raids, I will eat my own hat. Wherever that is,
You don't have a
somewhere.
hat.
I have like loads of hats are over there. But I can't get it.
All right, okay, I'm gonna remember this
Or
forever.
I'll do something
Jeff.
else.
I like
I'll do
this.
something else.
Someone clip
Immediately
this, yeah.
I'll do something else. I will someone make something up that's doable and fairly not offensive to most people who can watch the stream.
Oh, as in a challenge, a dare for if this comes out and you have to. No, Alan's saying
I'm not
dance
scared
for all
about
of us.
dancing for you. I'll do it now if you want me to. That is fine. I don't care.
I would like you to. I would like you to, please, before we continue this podcast.
Wait, hold on. Jebro hot tub stream.
I would do that. I would legitimately do that because I love hot tubs. They are the
You said
best.
it, guys.
If someone buys me a hot tub, I will do it. Definitely. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
I want to do
said-
travel streams. That's something I've always wanted to do because I've traveled a lot and I love traveling. So I would do that stuff. I would do it. Yeah, I would. I would do it. I have no qualms with that. I don't care about hot tub streams. I'm like, I'm there. I'm not asking, what kind of hot tub do you have? Because that's the most important thing to me. Okay. All right. What model? The velocity of bubbles and stuff. That's important information. Okay.
Maybe this is the big expansion features. We can get our own hot tubs in the game.
Well, that goes along with furnishing. So, I mean, that's
really
fine.
good, though.
I'm still very surprised they don't have that like a decent. Like you've got home instance as well.
Player
This is what I
housing,
don't get it.
yes.
Like Rook said, player housing is. I don't think people actually. I think loads of people who play MMORPGs, especially Guild Wars 2, and they just play that, and they don't know what furnishing is like in other games and the communities behind them, are some of the most driven communities in MMORPGs you will ever encounter. Like Arcade. No one gave a crap about anyone else other than day one land rushing. Like, it was land rushing to get your house and build a house and a boat as quickly as you could. Because, do you remember Minecraft? I mean, one of the biggest selling video games of all time. You build stuff. It's people. It's almost just like it's talking about psychology and it's talking about mental health, building and constructing and doing this kind of stuff is something that everyone can connect with in some kind of way. Even if you just shove something in there and you forget about it, it's like I'm just confused that this has never been a thing. So it should be, but it's just my opinion. Not that I would spend loads of time doing it, but it could be fun. I mean, guild halls are a thing.
Completely. I actually we did a podcast last night and I said the same thing. We had a whole section on player housing. I think that in general, a lot of MMOs do player housing. They do some of them do it well, some of them do it not so well. Some communities really care about it and some communities wouldn't. For example, World of Warcraft community, I don't think that player base would care at all. They had a totally failed version of no, I mean less than other communities, and they had the garrisons or whatever, which was a disaster. Guild halls in Guild Wars 2. And that whatever that little space you've got in POF that you can kind of mess with, it just seems to me like a giant waste because I think Guild Wars 2 as a community is the perfect community to really love to do player housing. Imagine building an area like the Queen's Terrace, the specialty areas. You could get all of your player instance stuff, your home instance stuff in there, and also crafting stations. You could make it practical and also hang your legendaries on the walls, man. I mean, it could be freaking awesome.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. The hanging your legendaries on the wall. That's very true.
I'm not gonna lie. If I could hang the legendaries on the wall in a house, I would get every legendary. And I have not been that I like them, but for me, having housing and stuff like that, I love it. It is something that I invest so much time into. I love the customization. I love the collection. I love being able to get creative in that space or do RP events or whatever you want to do in there. I think it's so fun. And I already loved that the guild halls, when you clear raid bosses, you get those little ring totems, or you get
the trophies. Yes.
Well, if you're a scribe, thank you, reader. And which costs a ridiculous amount.
That's the crazy thing, though. Maeric actually just mentioned having crafting stations and stuff in your house. My main my main reason why I thought this would never happen is because I thought ArenaNet wanted people to be in the cities and not just stay in their house the whole day.
That's exactly why.
But nowadays,
that's why they don't have them
we've
in
got
PvP.
the Mistlock Sanctuary, we've got all those lounge passes and stuff. So I feel like the ship has kind of sailed. I feel like this would totally work now.
Yeah, now you're right, because there is many more areas, like you said, that people go. I think they try and shift people, and it's also dependent on your access to different content as well, like Path of Fire and Heart Thorns and stuff, because they've still got main hubs, they've still got Lion's Arch, you've still got I guess Eye of the North, you have to pay money and stuff to upgrade that. And that's why they didn't have it in PvP as well. They didn't have crafting benches in PvP because they wanted people to go back to Lion's Arch, because they wanted people to go back to these areas. So, but like you said, now there's more. Yeah, it's I mean, Maybe. You never
How
know.
come there isn't one for raids, by the way? Can I just throw that out there? This one for fractals, this one for World v World. There's a million out there in open world. I
Yeah.
would love a specialty area like Queen's Terrace or the Mistlock Sanctuary for raids with raid merchants and raid portals and crafting all in one area. Feeling a little left out.
That's true.
Raiders.
There should be one in there.
Always sad.
I also really want old Lion's Arch in like a pass. So you buy the pass and you can go back to like the old Lion's Arch and walk
Wow.
around. Oh,
I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
I would buy
You
that.
can walk around a little bit in the personal story, but not much.
That's true.
Not much. But then you have to go and play the old personal story, and people have feelings about that. I'm pretty sure they do. Okay, what's the time? Let me think. Okay, it's not too bad. Anything else about like next week and excited for the achievements? What kind of extra achievements are going to be? What we're going to have to do? I mean, I can't remember the achievements from the old episodes, to be fair. I've still got to do them, so I'm kind of like, do I have to do the other achievements as well, or is it just the new ones? Because I kind of want to do all of them. But maybe I will. Do you think they're going to put anything ridiculous in there? Like, what are they going to put in there? I don't know.
How about challenge modes? Challenge mode story instances.
I mean,
More
I don't
difficult.
mind them
Like hard
being
to find for
difficult.
the end of HOT. That was an actual challenging thing back in the day.
Yeah, that's true.
Or migraine. It was migraine. That's what it was called, right? Migraine.
Yeah. The Mortimer fight, right?
Yeah.
Like in the harder mines and stuff.
They used to sell that. They used to sell it because it was challenging. It was hard for people.
Okay.
I actually agree. I think that would be fantastic, especially considering we're talking about a precursor weapon and like the legendary amulets and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's fine if these are like super challenging and you actually
Yeah.
have to try hard. I feel like they probably won't be though. I feel like they'll just be kind of like the other ones.
Yeah, let's be real here.
Yeah.
The story instances are not challenging. They're not supposed to be. They're only supposed to be challenging if you want to get the extra achievements, I think, at times. And half the time it's because you're trying to work out what the hell you're supposed to do. And it's not as always as easy to understand as it could be. But there are guides out there, thankfully. And yeah, so that's gonna be a thing. I mean, I guess as in a way as well, this achievement system is replacing that collection system from Heart of Thorns to get like the precursor, right? I mean, that's another way of doing it, which is good. I like that there's a way that you can get your hands on the precursor. I kind of think that takes away a little bit from like the trading post, but also, you know, the trading post probably not the most trustworthy place to be at the moment, in all honesty. But anyway, let's move on. Right, so I'm just dropping hints every so often.
What are you talking
Who
about,
knows?
Shepard?
I have got absolutely no idea. What's the time? So, Twisted Marionette, July 13th. Awesome. I cannot wait for this. One of the best things that was in Guild Wars 2 back in the day was the Twisted Marionette fight. And now I'm going to be able to show it on stream with sound. This is actually one of our podcast guests we had a couple of weeks ago, Rocker. This is on his YouTube channel. And I think he recorded the whole fight. I feel like this is the beginning. I'm just gonna kind of play the beginning bit because it's got a bit of a cinematic. There is no sound. Please let me know. The marionette coming out. This is good.
This is like a blast from the past.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
cool, bro. Look at that. That's
This
awesome.
was
It's
awesome.
really awesome.
It was like, and it wasn't just the marionette, because it was just all the clockwork stuff, and like, you know, I think this is when the spinal blades you could get as well, where like you could get all the stuff for that. So there was loads of stuff around this event back in the day. I'm wondering whether or not it's going to be easier to get, if they're going to include new skins and different stuff like that, and if this is going to be. Is this just going to be an instance thing? Is this going to be a thing which is just kind of on the map that happens every so often? I'm interested because
it
there's
could
nothing.
be like a Dragonstorm thing
This
now.
is the
Now
thing.
that they've established that, right?
And this is what I think they're going to be doing as one of their big future things. I think they're going to be bringing back fights that are big in the past of Guild Wars 2, where you can do this every day for gold or items or something. But then thinking about, there's the marionette, like what else is there to kind of bring back, I guess, and do, I
I was
don't
gonna
know.
say there wouldn't be a lot of them, right? There's not that many that have been excluded. to go back to.
There's one that comes to mind for me, which is the battle on the Breachmaker. Like when Lion's Arch was being destroyed by Scarlet, there was like one like sort of boss fight where everyone went up into the giant drill and you would fight Scarlet. I had like the really like amazing piano music. I think it plays in a Nightmare Fractal now. It's like the piano going like up and down.
That was good.
It was so good. I would love to see that one again.
That would be awesome.
There is some I can think of. I just thought of one, and then like the awesomeness of that fight overtook me. But I don't know, chat. Like, is there anything else? Nightmare Tower. I mean, this is the thing. Like, I mean, and this is something worth discussing. This is what I think about. You know, the DRMs. Let's just skip. So I'm gonna skip to the end. Actually, there was in this fight, if you remember. There was this bit where you had lanes. What was it, 5 lanes? Or maybe it was more, actually. This is very much going to be on a Dragonstorm level. Like, this is going to be Dragonstorm level, maybe even bigger. But then you went up onto these little platforms, and you would have to kill the boss there. But there were 5 different platforms, one for each lane. Yeah, there you go, there's 5. And why am I pointing at the screen? Hey, Mom! No, it's there! But you would have to port up there. God's sake, I'm such a nerd. And you would go up there and kill the boss, but I would consistently remember, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago and before as well, you just looking at one of the other platforms and just almost crying at the fact that they couldn't kill their boss. You're just like, God damn it, kill your boss, hurry up. I remember getting very upset.
In Twisted Tangle Depths.
Yeah. It's very similar feeling. I mean, they definitely got the idea for that from how successful this was, for them, to be sure. And 3 lane. No, there's 5. There is 5 lanes. Yeah. There's 5. I mean, maybe like it is difficult. I'm reacting to chat, by the way. Sorry. It might be difficult to imagine that it was, because but these events had a lot of people in them. A lot of people. And people would log on to it. I would log on and play this every day for 2 gold. I mean, you know, I do Dragonstorms once a day at the moment for 2 gold. It's like, you know, this is gonna be popular for a bit. Like, sorry, I'm fairly excited about this.
I wonder if they'll do this in like an instance like Dragonstorm, or whether this is legitimately gonna be a world boss in the open world. I'm actually kind of curious about that.
What if they brought like a story back where like it would return Laura? Is that kind of what you're talking about? If it's like
or I guess they could just like throw it in there. I don't think they need too much story explanation about that. I'm just curious if it's going to be like an instance that runs every 2 hours, or whether it's just going to happen in the world every 2 hours. Basically.
It's the explanation of it, right? Like, why is it back? Like, what is it here to do? It's just like
there's actually a theory about this.
Go on.
I might be very, very slightly spoiling tiny things about the latest episodes, in case you haven't played it yet. Very, very slightly though. I won't say what happens.
Everyone, I've played it on stream, so if anyone has not played the latest episode,
and there are some magical particles flying south from the sites where that previous thing happens. I thought these were bubbles for a while. I don't think they're bubbles. I think it's just like magic. But if you like make a line from like Dragonstorm, it almost goes like exactly over the side of the Marionette. So people are speculating like, yo, maybe this magic is gonna make the Marionettes come back to life or something. I don't think they'll just throw it in there. I thought it was
going to Capford. Like, is this the same direction?
That's south as well.
So wait, that's everything is south. Everything is south. Everything is south.
Yeah, everything is south.
We've been in the north, so based off of directions, all the stuff that is in the south is still in the south.
Ooh, actually, that kind of makes some sense. Like, if this magic is going to places, like maybe it will be resurrecting things. I mean, this is a robot, but I mean, it was still, and did it come from Scarlet's ship? Pretty sure it did. I don't know. I think that's the actual. I'm not too sure. I can't remember.
I think I was assuming that this was going to be something that would kind of either go through the pool or the arch, right? That was just like a memory flashback or something like that. But I actually like the idea of it being a new recurrence, right? Or being something there where it actually does kind of tie into what's happening and feels more like it's in the moment, as opposed to just like a fun little nostalgia trip. So I hope they do something like that. I'm assuming that it's probably going to be something in line with those like response missions and everything that we've got, the instanced kind of stuff, right? As opposed to an open world thing, just because it seems like they've developed this whole system for it, and people are running it through that hub, and it makes sense to do that as opposed to try and like overload a map that might already have other stuff that's running or other things going on. But
Very true,
I
actually.
do love open world stuff, so I would be happy too to see it actually pop up and see everybody kind of like run over there and new players be like, what is this?
Yeah, it's how. Yeah, because at the moment there is that wreckage of it still in that map, which is cool. You can go and look at it. But it's like, yeah, how are they going to do that? And what do they call them? Because it's not a dragon response mission. It will be something else. Like they'll have to, like, it's like a visions of the past raid. I don't know, but like, I mean, I don't know. It's like, it's interesting to kind of think how they're going to market this stuff and promote it and be like, this is a new thing which is coming to Guild Wars 2, past fights or fights you've had which were turned into these things that you can revisit,
Hopefully not a raid or Jebber has the hot tub stream. I don't know. I think that was
I mean, they could. I mean, the Marionette is. You could. I mean, no. No, it's not gonna happen.
I'm actually curious. Do you think this will be a permanent edition? Because I was reading that blog post and I couldn't really tell. I would be so sad if it comes back for like a month and then it just goes away again. It has to be permanent, right? It has to be.
I would
feel
hope
like
so.
it is. I mean, if not that, then a seasonal event. I mean, it
Right.
feels like something that would be, if they're going to put the time and energy into this, and if it's been requested this much, I would assume this would be something that you could run,
That's
Content. Why would they make content that would then be taken away again? It just seems like they know better.
I mean,
This seems like a
they've
deja vu
definitely
here.
not done that before. Yeah. Or made something and not continued it, potentially, maybe, even though we've enjoyed it massively. It's a good question, Laura. That is actually a very, very good question. I am now thinking about that question because it's not something I thought about before.
Like SAB, right? SAB was a totally one-time temporary thing. They brought it back as a seasonal event.
They
Right.
did. They didn't carry it on, unfortunately, which I think was a bit of a loss. But again, development time. They do. I'm still confused about that. Why? But
Like SAB?
I just get frustrated with it. It's I mean, I love the theme because I love like that kind. I'm an '80s kid. I love the theme and the weapons and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm up for it. Like it's good times, but I have no desire to hit myself against a brick wall for many hours a day because that's what would happen. I think that's there's words for that. That kind of enjoyment, and I can't do it. So I'm gonna start talking about Sab now because that makes me upset. Legendary Armory. July the 1st. First of all, is there anything else you want to talk about Marionette? Like, we're excited, right? This is fairly excited.
Oh yeah. I'm super excited.
Okay.
I can't wait to do this content. I mean, it's something that I've heard the community talk about for ages, right? And I have seen bits and pieces.
You've never done it.
I've never done it, so I'm really looking forward to it. I've got, a couple characters ready to go. I dip my toe in raiding. Well, dip my toe. We do it 3 times a week, so it's something that I've done for a while now.
You're a hardcore raider now. 3 times a week, bloody hell.
Well, we run 3 learning progression raid parties with our guild per week, so I hop in and I run on Saturdays. But it's something that I've done for years now, and I feel like it's one of those great things too, where like whether you're feeling comfortable coming into a fight like this because you've done metas, because you've done raiding, because you've done those sorts of things, or you're just like curious about what the hype is about, and you get in there and you start realizing that there might be this bigger picture, more stuff to do, more ways to kind of tackle this, and depending on the difficulty, that's going to be really interesting too. So I'm glad because I think it just opens people's minds to the possibilities of the different encounters and stuff that can be in game, including things that are closer to like raid bosses or oh gosh, of course, now my brain's going to short. The single boss. Yes. So I like that. I like seeing more where we get that. And this is a great bring back or throwback to choose right now.
Kid. Bring back.
Bring back.
I'm up for it. This is a new one. Bring back. That's what they should have called it. Oh, that's what they're gonna call it. Bring back events. Bring it back. So they're gonna have a theme tune.
I'm actually a little bit scared because I think I moved my vacation to the week the Marionette comes out. Now that I think about it,
Oh no!
I have to move it again.
No. Do not move it for the Marionette event. You don't know how good
It
it's
better
gonna be.
still be there when I get back.
It probably, yeah. Well, I would say it probably will be. We'll record it.
So Rook has been
Record
playing
it.
for 4 years and has not played this, but has heard of this content. I'm a part of the Head Start Club. I don't know if you guys were around in that
Oh, yeah, I
weekend
was.
before the game came
Yeah.
out, right?
But,
So I played this game consistently for almost 9 years now, and I was gone for 1 year, and that's when that happened. And so this one chunk of
Oh,
content
no
that I've
way.
never seen, I got married in that year, and I lost that opportunity. So for me, I've been looking forward to this for forever. Any tiny glimpse of something like that. In fact, that video that you played of legendary ERP winner Roka, showing off that moment in time, that's the first I've ever seen it, and I didn't know that it was that grand of an event. That looked like a giant.
Sorry if
epic
I spoiled
meta
that for you
event.
then. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, no, it actually got me more hyped for it. It looked like a
Yeah.
big, amazing thing,
It
and it's
is.
actually really exciting.
And you have to coordinate as well, like to a degree. You have to be like, right, we need more people on this. Like, it's like the meta events on, like, Chat Garrett and stuff. It's like, it's like those events, like Aura Basin, and they are fun. Yeah, it's like you don't coordinate with the rest of the map. The people who are doing it, you're gonna fail. And that event failed very consistently. Like, it did, and you would just be like. And it was a massive letdown because you're like, it's going to be a while till it's back up, but still, it was at
Don't
least
you like
challenging.
those moments in time where that's true though? Like there's been a couple of those. I brought up the Chalk Garrett, right? That was one that was a disaster. When the game came out, when the expansion came out, like nobody could get that down for like a heck of long. Like we were trying to coordinate, it was a huge mess. The other good example of that was in POF, I always forget the name of it. It was
Serpent's
absolutely
Ire?
broke. Serpent's Ire. Thank you, Laura.
Oh,
Knows
yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about. And there were like big collections and big skins and stuff that were locked behind that event, and nobody could beat it. It was exhausting, but it was so epic when you managed to get it. I like the extra challenge. I like the coordination that you
Me
got.
too. I mean, like, I hope that it's one of those things, and I hope, as well as players, right? I think we all have to be willing to engage in this. Like, developers have to be willing to take the risk to create content that's challenging, and players have to also be willing to, like, engage the time and energy and patience into it. So,
Failure.
yeah, like, there's definitely a balance because, of course, like, the smaller a group is, the more you're able to pinpoint, like, with accuracy, where problems might be occurring, right? So like we always see in MMO content, if you have a huge event with a ton of players, it shouldn't be the kind of thing where it's so punishing that like one person makes a mistake and you're like, well, there's 40 something of us and this is impossible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's easier if you have a smaller group, but at the same time, with a lot of the way that Guild Wars 2 is able to do this larger scale, massive group content, and with stuff like commander tags and squadrons and all these other tools that like other MMOs don't necessarily have for this kind of thing, being able to coordinate in smaller units to execute something like this is feasible. And the community does it. Like they will do it. They will get to the point where they can run it. And so I really hope that we do get some challenge with it so that people can dig into it and have fun and feel rewarded for it. And of course, it can't be like insanely difficult, but I like when stuff is, not always a guaranteed success, because then it does feel, to me at least, that it's way more rewarding when it's actually executed and when you actually have to work together for it.
Don't you feel like that's something we've lost in MMOs a lot? Sort of that the challenge, the risk versus reward, like the investment of time and the reward for accomplishing something difficult. I don't know. There's nowadays it's a time investment grind. As long as you throw yourself at something for long enough, you're gonna get it. Like we all know that that's true. But like I said at the beginning of my introduction, I'm old school. Like I come from EverQuest where life was hard. Like I feel like that dude is like, go both ways in the snow. Okay, like that's how MMOs used to be.
And we were talking about this before we came on, like about Classic, weren't we? Like, Lara's playing
Exactly.
it, you're playing it as well, and I'm playing it, and especially with the Burning Crusade pre-patch which just came out, which has got the new 2 races and stuff. Like even more people are playing. I don't know if Rook, you played it yet, or you're thinking about like dipping your toe into Classic, but you're thinking about it.
Well, I did dip my toe into
There
it,
you
and
go.
I mean,
It's
I
a different
appreciate.
kind of game. Yeah, it's different. It's
I appreciate
old.
the history.
Exactly.
I just personally was like, I don't know if this day and age with the other MMOs that I keep up with that I want to invest the time in this. You know, like that was
Yes.
where I
That's
was
it.
when I made the decision, but I actually did enjoy the like experience and getting to kind of see that, and it made me appreciate MMOs and like see how a lot of things had developed since then. So I think it's
Exactly.
definitely worth playing for that.
It's the one thing that the reason why I am playing it again is the challenge. Is literally like I mean, you know, I was playing my Draenei, I hadn't died for like, you know, I was level 8 or something. I was like, you know, this is very beginning of the game and stuff. And then I was like, instantly I was versus a mob that was same level as me, and then randomly just interrupted me and just smashed me in the face and one-shotted me. And I was like, what? Like, you know, this is just a normal mob, man. I'm not supposed to die to this thing. Like, I was like, but then I was like, oh, this is classic, remember? And it was just like the positioning and mob respawns and like always making sure you're in the right place, making sure you haven't used your big 5-minute cooldown ability, which is like really important to keep. And you're just like, damn, this was actually difficult back in the day. Just leveling, like, you know.
Do you remember the promo video that they came out with? It was like the dude in the tavern playing the lute. He's playing the song, and they had like Leroy Jenkins and stuff in the thing, Ronda Rousey, and in the song he says, "We're going back to a place where anything can kill you."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was actually true. When people
so
begged
true.
for Classic, they stood up. This was actually a huge moment in MMO gaming when Blizzard stood up to their whole audience at BlizzCon, and they were like, "Classic!" And the the Blizzard employee turned and said, "You think you want it, but you don't." It was so hard and miserable, and of course we all wanted hard and miserable, and now we love it. But it was crazy.
It's weird, right? It feels like a hardcore run now of like old MMORPGs, but it's like, yeah, I think you're right. I think some more challenge in the game is good, but I think genuinely the sadly enough, and the way we are and the way society is and the way we are as human beings probably has evolved quite a lot now, where we just like things fast and furious. We like to just eat content very, very quickly, and I could go into psychology of this for a long time, but like, you know, it's the way we are now. We're like watching these small little videos and then going on to the next thing, and that's the way, kind of, instant gratification. And it's unfortunate. I think you know, there are games out there which give you the challenge, like Dark Souls and everything else. MMORPGs, you know, there's raid content and stuff which is more difficult but involves more people, and I think ESR actually does a good job of that again, you know, with their arena stuff, which is very, you can be a solo player and you can play their arena veteran stuff and have a good challenge in there. I think Guild Wars 2 is a different beast. There is challenging stuff to do, but I think going back to probably about half an hour ago when the original piece of stuff of this conversation existed in the first place was talking about the difficulty of things and going forward, and even the Marionette and everything else. I think that'll probably stick where it was. I think people... It's really, really funny because in Guild Wars 2, I think that there is this competitiveness between communities. There is, you know, and PvP can be pretty toxic. It's probably the worst it's ever been. World v World, I'm not too sure about, but I think in these events, people really do come together and they complete that shit. They really do. It's funny how rewards sometimes can really, you know, rally people together. But you know, I think they know the audience in that regard. I want to move on to Legendary Armory because I think this is going to be a bit of a conversation. We've been here for about 2 hours and it's important we talk about this. So I'm going to read the blurb they've got on their little roadmap. So the Legendary Armory is a new and improved way to manage your legendary gear and upgrades. Once the legendary item is added to the armory, it will be available to every level 80 on your account. No more visiting the bank to share one weapon between multiple characters. More information about the Legendary Armory will be available closer to its release. Who is excited for this?
I think we all are, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of us. I mean, this is one of those things where, again, and it's funny talking about like WoW Classic and design mentality or other things, right? Like, I don't necessarily think that something always has to be constantly never-endingly difficult or arduous or like, just to give it worth. And that's not to say that WoW Classic is just that, so I just want to be clear, but like when it comes to stuff like legendaries, this is a big discussion, right? Like, oh, we have something that's very difficult to obtain. So is it more valuable if you have to get multiples for every character or like change it between? It's like, no, please, if I do this, please respect the time that I put into it. Please give me some way that this is easily used with everybody. Like, it's just one of those things that makes sense to me as a player and incentivizes me to want to do more of them, right? Because being able to like to even engage with it, it's not like Guild Wars 2 has ever made it so that you can't do this. I mean, yes, you can absolutely just shuffle it around. There's a lot of great ways to just be able to, shove stuff in other slots and be able to just transfer them between characters. It's not like Guild Wars 2 is the most arduous MMO I've ever experienced with this. But I think people had some concerns like, well, if you make them usable, then people aren't going to work for as many or as hard. But for me, I'm like, this makes me want to do it because I know if I spend all that time, then I am set. Like, I'm good. It's going to be so easy for me to integrate this into my characters, to like have it on multiple characters. It's really going to feel like this is an achievement, as opposed to me being like, I'm fine with Ascended. Maybe I'll do a legendary when I feel like it. This feels much more like it's a cohesive thing, and I'm excited to engage with it.
Dude, I'm so surprised and excited to find that someone else is in the same boat as me. So I'm sort of like famous for not crafting legendaries. I raid, right, a lot, and I don't have legendary armor. People give me crap for this all the time. I got 2,500 plus LI, and I don't have legendary armor. It's wild. But the thing is
you
that
don't
like
have any legendaries at all. Like nothing.
I have a few weapons. So I have a few weapons, but I haven't gone out of my way to do basically anything. I've only crafted 2 legendary weapons myself.
Just do it on stream.
Well,
do it.
Okay, so
do it now, Maeric. We need Maeric.
Is,
we need a Maeric petition. Okay, I want someone in Maeric's community.
Me and Rook, apparently,
to start this petition.
I saw someone in chat saying that she needs to craft some more legendaries. So, but I'm in the same boat. Like for me, I have so much currency. I've played the game so much. I got Ascended falling out of my pockets. I'm deleting them on a weekly basis. You get so many, you have to salvage them. There's just no point. They just take up so much space. If you raid constantly, you just get inundated with them. So it's never really been a big deal for me. I just sort of gear out each character. I'm not actually like a huge fan of legendary armor. The look, I like sort of toned down looks.
Not many people are, mate. In all honesty.
I mean, I'm definitely like the weirdo when it comes to that. People like very flashy characters in general, I think. But I'm much more likely to make legendary now because of the armory than I would have been previously. The only exception that I've always given for legendary is that I believe that while you can freely stat change legendaries, which is great, I've always wished you could freely change them with transmutation, with lack of transmutation charge to change what they look like. Because for me, that would be exhausting. I'm still going to have to change them back and forth all the time. I'm still not going to feel like it fits each one of my characters independently. And so that's a thing. So that there's always a cost that goes.
No, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry now.
Well, there's some
character.
concern. This is what I wanted to ask you guys. How do you guys feel about the possibility? I know there's been talk about the potential monetization of this system, as if like you're going to need to buy.
If they monetize it, they're going to be shooting themselves in the foot. Like they cannot do that. And if there is an ArenaNet dev in here right now, I will say it to the flipping cows come home. You monetize this, it's going to be the biggest mistake you will ever make. Do not do that.
Agree.
It will be bad.
They have confirmed that they weren't planning to, right?
They have pretty much confirmed it.
Yeah.
Like, but they said. Like, what is the actual, like, Rick, I'm going to come to you in 2 seconds, sorry. Like, there is, this angers me because yes, they have come back and they've told people, and then the community are like, oh, they've got to monetize it. And like, imagine having that much, like, it's so pessimistic, and it's just like, now it's like, it's all because of the build template stuff, because they brought this awesome thing in, which was already available to people via an add-on. And then they started monetizing it, and it's like, you know what? It put me off. I don't use build templates at all. I always just put my build in manually because I like to remind myself about what traits on me. I barely use the build templates as it is, and I really don't care that they charge a bit of money to have extra slots because they need to make money, people. These things need to make money so they can make more content. I don't care. They give you a couple of free slots. It don't take you that long to make your build. Let's not be lazy mofos. That I've never really had an issue about the build templates. The legendary armory though, I will not be happy if there is some kind of system where you have to pay money to put it on other characters. Like there's a maximum amount of characters you can have this on, for an example. I really don't think they should do that. I think it would be I think people would pay for it because they want it. But I just don't think that they should, because this is something they've been talking about again for a while. It's taken a while to come out. And I'm quite passionate about this, apparently, more so than I realized. But they take a lot to make, they take a lot of effort to construct. The legendary armor for raids is not easy to do. Like, if you don't have a group, you're not getting that done. You're going to have to pug raids, and you're going to have to get good because people will just kick you out. And you have to get certain things done there. You have to hand these different items in every so often, to different vendors around the hot maps as well. You have to have crafting. They're easily the most difficult way to get like legendary armor in the game. PvP in World v World is piss easy. You just got to play. You can lose every single get. Do you know what I mean? It's not that difficult. It's just going to take you longer. So I'm just... Rook, what are you going to say? Otherwise I'm going to carry on.
I'm thinking, I like listening to you talk about it. It gives me other things to consider. I mean, I was only going to say that I think I'm one of those rare people, and I completely and utterly understand that people have varying opinions on this, and for good reason, but it just doesn't bother me. Like, if they decided to make if they give us something and then there's various expansions for it that is paid, I am not one of the people that tends to be upset about this, right? Like, of course, if the entire feature was locked behind a paywall, then I would be very unhappy. But like, usually when they give us something that like for the vast majority of players will be okay, and then you have to pay to like expand stuff, or like you have to wait until the bank expansion tabs go on sale, or you have to wait until, I'm okay with that, because again, I spend so little money on this MMO compared to others that to me, I'm like, if I make this investment or choose to make this investment at some point, I'm okay with it, and I have the spending money to do that, and that's fine with me, However, I mean, I do also see the other side of this, in that features of the game that I think are designed to work with the game as it is, and that offer true, help and aid and quality of life to players. I do think that you have to be careful about how many of those you do start monetizing, even just for the actual feeling of your community, right? To where there need to be some things where it is just, this is a quality of life thing that we are giving to you, and we have given it. The end. Like, it's done. It's great. You don't have to pay for anything additional. This is just a new update for the game that if you're playing and stuff, it's really important. So I know that there's a lot of people who may be upset if there are limitations with this new system, and I understand why. Like, I do understand, and I hope that it doesn't have paid elements. But at the same time, I mean, if they do something where it's like, yeah, you can use this weapon on, I don't know. I know so many people who have so many characters in this game, And if it's something where it's like, you can have this be on 10 characters or something like that, I don't know if I'll be super upset if you have to pay to have it be on more. But at the same time, I do agree that with legendaries, it is that time investment, But I can't see them making this something that's going to be squeezing us for our dimes. I don't even think the stuff that we have currently is like squeezing you for all you're worth. I think it's something you choose to engage with or purchase if you want, but that is just my opinion,
That's the thing. I actually think that this doesn't have to be monetized, because I think this will monetize itself. Because I know like a lot of people who they want legendaries and they don't want to put in the time to play the game and farm that gold. I know so many people who just buy gems and convert it to golds. I think this will like encourage so many people to just buy a bunch of gems, buy a bunch of legendaries. I think this is gonna make ArenaNet a bunch of money without even having to monetize the Armory. Just like the fact that legendaries have become so much more desirable, especially if you're like a raider and you have a lot of alts and you want that sweet stat swapping feature. It makes me want to go like, I should make legendary armor. I don't have enough gold for that. I'm just gonna buy it for gems. I'm just gonna play the game. But yeah. There must be a lot of people like me who want that, and they just see that like gem to gold conversion thing, and they're like, hell yeah, where's my credit card? I think this will make ArenaNet a lot of money, regardless of whether they monetize them.
That's a great
Well-
point. I hadn't even thought about that. You're so right. Like,
Yeah, that's what it should
That
do.
is true. A lot of the issue, I think, like I bring it up all the time. Like I actually like giving money to the game. I like giving money to subscription fees. I play this game for how many? Let's be honest, guys. How many hundreds of hours do you spend playing this game a month? It like the tiny cost is ludicrous for the amount of entertainment that you get from it. That's always my argument. But to play devil's advocate, and Jebber brought this up just a moment ago, the real concern I think for people, which doesn't even apply to me because I didn't use it, I didn't have legendaries at the time, it was that the progress of this and how this happened was that there was an add-on that was really prolific in the Guild Wars 2 community that people used to swatch.
I mean, you're
all
mixing
of
up
their
words to
builds
make
back
it
and forth.
shorter. That's what that works for us.
Yeah.
That's good.
So they used it as a build template, right, to switch their builds, but they also used it as the legendary armory. That add-on effectively was a legendary armory in a way that it would restat your stuff, it would swap your legendary pieces on your character, and then when they were like, so the next step was that ArenaNet was like, so this add-on is actually now illegal. You can't have this one anymore, and it's because we're going to do our version of this. And then they were like, and it's going to come out next week, and then it didn't. It's going to be like a long time later, and it didn't. And then so people just kind of had the add-on immediately made illegal, and they didn't have something to replace it with. And then when it came out, it was monetized, and some people got grumpy about it. So then there is some resentment that I think now it's been long enough that maybe some of that resentment has died down. I wouldn't be upset if they handled it in the way that they handled build templates. But I do know for some who have been around long enough, who have long memories and a lot of resentment, there is some potential for being frustrated.
yeah. And I mean, I think it is difficult in a game where add-ons are something that, well, maybe not as prolific as ESO. They're still definitely used. You know what I mean? Like, versus something like Final Fantasy 14, where really any modding whatsoever, and even like ACT damage parsing, right, is technically against terms of service, and you can't at any time.
Oh, really? With Final Fantasy 14? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
No DPS units are allowed. The sort of like gist of it in the community is, we all use it, but you're never allowed to mention it ever, and it can't be on your stream. You can't talk about it, and you can't. It's technically illegal, but they've actively implied that they won't pursue you unless you use it publicly. It's such a
Unless
bizarre
you
thing.
harass somebody in game using it. Some streamers even are able to get away with it being up, but again,
see it,
you
yeah.
cannot verbally use it as a way to like tear down other players or like be caught like
That's
you know,
awesome.
using it as a tool that is in like a negative light where you're harassing other players with it.
Yeah.
And even then, it's technically not allowed. So they could at any time choose to reprimand you for it, right? So it's one of those things where, like in Guild Wars 2, I think we have a community that does use add-ons more, and it is more accepted in general. Like, there's not a huge amount, but there are some. And I totally agree with what you were saying in that I think that was a difficult and weird misstep with some of the like communication and execution of that when it was such a commonly accepted
It was a tiny
add-on.
bit cheeky.
And yeah, it was a little cheeky. And like, that's not to say that WoW hasn't also, you know, taken other, you know, things from creators that are add-ons and then implemented it into the game. That's not to say that other groups haven't done that. It's just that the way it was kind of executed here and then like the complete banning of that add-on, I think did create this negativity, which I do think, you know, was valid in many ways. And I mean, I don't see them continuing to do stuff like this. I don't, you know, again, it's one of those things where I don't mind if they monetize certain features because, yes, I would like to give money to the game and have it thrive and flourish. So it's always that bit of balance. And I hope that players, just keep that in mind as we even, like you were saying, Jeb, approach some of these discussions. Like if ArenaNet says, and like if you haven't read updates, forums, information, or things like that, and ArenaNet has said, like, no, we're not monetizing this, there's no reason for you to go to every Reddit and to yell about how ArenaNet's going to squeeze the life out of you. And steal
It's just so
your
pessimistic. It's just like, you know, I mean, I can't tell people to feel the way that I'm never gonna, you know, I'd be a worst like counselor in training ever if I told people how to feel about things. That would be awful. But at the same time, I am still my own person. And I still like to think that sometimes, maybe, logically, like, if someone tells you something, maybe, like, you know, believe them for a bit, and then when the thing happens, like, judge them on their actions rather than on their the immediate, maybe, thoughts. And obviously, we do that all as people anyway. But, you know, I mean, it's not come out yet. We don't know what the deal is. In my opinion, having some kind of quest system to unlock things like this would always be my way of doing things, because at least then people are getting into the game and playing the game, and you're selling the game for something which they have to spend a little bit of time toward to get it. It doesn't have to be a ridiculous, you know, chain of quests or anything where, you know, you have to go across the world and do a ton of stuff. Like, just send them a couple of NPCs, grab a few items. You've got your legendary armory in your home instance or whatever. That's how you activate it, and then you can activate it from anywhere, whatever. Like, it would just be a cool little thing where you can easily, like Lara said, you know, where playing the game is literally, you know, it's that good of a system that it sells part of the game. Really, really, you know, that makes sense. Like, it makes actual sense to do it that way. Why don't you make your game good so that people play it and want to buy it? I mean, I'm not saying that Guild Wars 2 is bad. I'm saying that, you know, for most games, this is how they should make money. You would imagine that would be the way that I would want to make money anyway. But, well, I hope so. I mean, unless you're playing, like, I don't know, Bless Online or something. Or Bless Offline or whatever it's called now. I'll bring that back up.
This kind of brings in an interesting discussion, though, because, like, one of the things which a lot of people were upset about monetization-wise was the fact that mount skins cost money. Personally, I don't mind. I didn't really like the fact that it was, like, loot boxy and it was, like, random. Nowadays, you can just, like, pick the one you want if you pay a bit more. But a lot of people argue, like, hey, it would have been way better if mount skins would have been like an in-game reward. You know, if you played lots of Path of Fire, you could get like a super cool mount skin for your Griffin or something. I think there's always like such an interesting like you know, like do you go for the in-game reward that's really cool and you get lots of people to play, which, you know, for Marionette is like value, right? Like the more people play, the more new players come in, like the healthier the game is. Or do you go and sell them on the gem store and make a bunch of money? Which is also good for Arena because, you know, they need to like pay their employees and stuff.
Paying people money? Holy shit.
Oh, what?
They pay them in gems.
They have employees.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
No, that's like such a wild thing. Like, I don't know what the answer is to that because it's both things are can be like a good thing, you know?
Yeah.
I think you just do both, to be honest.
There it
I
is.
mean,
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
the thing is that, I mean, I don't particularly mind that the mount skins are specific to Gem Store. That's just me. And especially because you can convert in-game gold to gems. It's like, you know, save up. It's just about the same as if you were playing other stuff, like, you know, other repeatable content or farming for something. Save up your money and then convert to gems and then buy skins that you want. Like, but at the same time, I do think that for it being such a huge cosmetic in the game, it should be in the game. So, like, there's a part of me that, you know, in 14, in ESO, in wherever, you know, actually, I think more in 14, because ESO also has a pretty heavy monetization of things, which is, I think, it's even more extreme than Guild Wars 2, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Guild Wars 2 is pretty moderate, all things considered, wildly enough.
It really fucking is. Sorry.
Like,
I don't like to use the F-bomb on my podcasts. But you're right.
I agree. But with like Final Fantasy 14, for example, right? There's like a trillion, million, billion mounts that you can earn in the game. And they also sell mounts on the cash store. And people buy every single one because they want to collect everything. Like, as far as I have seen from my perspective as a content creator and a player, I have not seen it affect sales at all, even a little bit. Like, it's one of those things where I think that, again, you're fostering some goodwill and then also just letting people have the options that they want. So, I mean, I'm also hoping that maybe with this next expansion, we do see a set of skins or something come out that you can earn or achieve, because I think you should. If it's a cosmetic in the game, there should be a way for you in the game to earn some of those cosmetics, even if in the shop there's like way more or way fancier or whatever it is, you know? So I hope we see them add something like that in, and I don't think it would affect their sales. I think people would still buy just as many off the store. Like,
Yeah,
plenty
it
good.
I
needs to be
agree.
both, for sure. Like, I can just say, like, as a player who's played this game for a long time, I got a lot of characters. I've tried to make them look cool. It is always a little bit of a bummer on my end when somebody stops and goes, "Oh, hey, dude, I love the look of your character. Where did you get this?" And I want to say it's because I got it from the corpse of the giant epic flaming dragon at the bottom of Mount Doom. But no, I say gem store, and that's
Yeah.
always a little bit of a bummer. I don't like that. I'm not
Or
not
Black
saying that they
Lion
should
chest.
stop. Yeah, Black Lion chest, which is even worse, right? That's even worse
It
because
is
that's the
even
R&D
worse.
element of it. I want to be able to say I defeated this hard thing, or I accomplished this one thing, or and not to say that they should stop, because they should keep selling things in the gem store. I want to support them that way, but there's nothing to say that it can't be both, which is true in Final
Yeah.
Fantasy, which is true in World of Warcraft, which is true even in ESO. All of these do both, and it would be really nice if Guild Wars 2 could do more of that instead of like a farming. Like, technically, you could farm, which to me is actually one of the biggest issues for Guild Wars 2. Nothing really individually has a great deal of worth. It's a big farming exercise, and you can technically convert that into gold and then gems and then buy it, but that's not an epic adventure. That is weird economic grinding, and it's not fun for me.
That's just life.
That's
isn't
life.
it?
That's
like
real life.
we grind to, make money and buy the things that look nice, and then it means nothing in the end. Wow, that's a bit deep. But like, there's
Different podcast, Jeff. Different podcast.
Yeah, again, sorry. But like, I think you're right. I think there is some. They've missed out. They've definitely missed out on that. I mean, and I think that's where, an earlier conversation when we were talking about a sub. We've talked about it on the podcast many times. How like an optional sub to get bits every week, and what that would do for the game. And then Berdachest, just before Rook's finished their stream, they're actually talking about it again, about the option to do that, and that you said you would do it, and I think most of us would, and how much money that would put into the game, and then give them the chance to spend the time on doing that, and also to just let us have some cool stuff that's not in the gem store that just looks good, and there is stuff that's not in the gem store that looks good. You have to get by creating a legendary, but there's equally the argument that there is stuff on the gem store which looks better than these epic journeys you go through, and you're just like, damn. Because Maeric, that question literally gets asked every stream on my main character, on my Asura. And they're like, "Whoa, your character looks good," and it'll be someone in the mist, or it'll be someone in the Eye of the North, and I'll be like, "Oh crap!" The only thing I've got which is not pay is my dwarf infusion that I'm massively proud of, and I farmed just like DRMs to get that, and it didn't take that long. You could do it in a week. And as long as if you don't care about getting the masteries too much, and it was just like, and I got this other infusion which just dropped randomly. And I'm dead proud of that. But like, that was actually a thing which I worked towards, and it's still the most thing I'm probably proud of, other than the PvE legendary armor I got. But if you've got leather armor, I'm talking about, where you probably don't use that look very much. Because you've just got a massive butt, and I don't know why. It's just odd. It's very, very odd. Because in legendary armor, butts are important. I don't know. something happened there.
I mean, look, if you have a legendary butt, you should be proud of it.
Yeah, you should be. Maybe that's what it's about.
That.
Maybe that's what it's about. Well said, Rick. Well said. People work hard for that. Okay. In
Any
real life.
sort of butts in chat, by the way?
Bad butts. There's some bad butts.
There's an emoji for that. I saw it earlier.
It is. There is. But yeah, I mean, legendary armor is going to be awesome. We do training raids, and we're at a very different level. We're working towards our first raid clear. We're working on Sabbath or on Saturdays now, and we're on like the second Saturday this week, and we're going to kill it probably, aren't we? We are going to kill it, yeah. And then Wednesday's another one, and we say, you can bring whatever gear you want, just whatever. You can come in greens if you want. We've had someone who didn't even have gliding, and we tried to get them to the bosses. It was fun. But also, maybe you need to have gliding. I mean, gliding should be a requirement. It is now, I think. On some bosses you don't need it, like Veil Guardian, you don't. Gorseval might be a bit upsetting. Like, I know people sometimes skip a lot of the mechanics, but we can't do that. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that part of it. But in those raids, I play everything. I'm playing every single class at the moment and nearly every single kind of build I can play. And it does take time for me to go to my bank, pull this thing over, get the food over, and like the food now I've now got like on different characters. I've learned that. But I will always forget to put my pants on or something, you know, or take them off to put them in the bank. And then I'm like, we're talking about in-game. Yes. Like,
I hate it when that happens.
And you're like, oh crap, now I've got to go back again. Runes. Yes. And we had this 2 weeks ago. We were struggling on like Veil Guardian stuff for a little bit, and I was healing, right? Didn't have Runes of the Monk on, did I? Because I switched legendary gear over, and the runes came off, and I didn't know. And I was like,
a lot of healing down.
I'm not like, I'm missing some boon duration here. I'm missing a lot of healing. So, you know, what's going on? And then like, after we completed the boss, I was looking at my gear and I was like, I might change to this rune. I was like, well, you probably want to put runes on first to change onto something else. And I admitted this on stream, and I just shouldn't have, because I just say what's in my head sometimes, and most of the time. And it's just like, and now every single raid stream, I'm never getting away with it. And so, you know, just avoiding that embarrassment is going to be worth it for me, to be fair. But like, I'm very interested to see how it will work. Like, is it just going to be a panel where you just pull it out of thin air? Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like this has got to be a place where you go to, surely, and you equip it for the first time, and then that's it. And then as you get pieces, you know, you just go to that armory and you pull it out. You know, I'm wondering, what do you guys think, how is this going to work? What is this system?
I think like I was literally when they first announced it, I was thinking this would be a really complicated system. Like you could like equip something on multiple characters, and I was like, how is that gonna work when you transmutate like your legendary armor? How it's gonna look like on a different character?
Yeah.
Now, then someone one day in my chat suggested that the legendary armory would just like spawn copies, and I think that's perfect. I think it might honestly be a panel.
That makes
I
the most
kind of
sense.
think that might be a thing. You know how when you get like achievement points, there are these certain skins you get every couple achievement points, and you can just like press them and you can just take them out and you can spawn as many copies of them as you want. I think that's how it's gonna work. I think they'll just make it be like, oh, you got the Bifrost, now you can make 1 million Bifrost. You can't sell them, you can't trade them, but you can put them on all your characters. I feel like that's how it's gonna work.
This is interesting. Now, ESO had a system they brought in last year or the year before, maybe, and like basically, was it? Yeah. It's like you basically collect when you collect a piece of armor and you get rid of it via selling or or whatever. Even when you just collect it anyway, you get this thing that's unlocked forever. And you have to recraft it if you want it. Like, it doesn't cost as much to recraft it. It just costs shards or whatever the currency is. I can't remember. I hope that, obviously, I don't think they'll do that. I don't think you'll have to recraft your legendary. That would kind of suck. But there are these systems in games, in some MMORPGs, where you can recreate things. You do have to go to a crafting bench. So I think that's just the initial wonderment of where you can be able to do this, like, and I think that window putting things out feels like okay, but I kind of want something a little bit more special for the first time I equip
agree.
it. Like I want to have like some massive, I want to have an instance where I go in there and it just looks awesome. There's legendary armor on the wall. There's all the legend, like you were saying, Rook, earlier. Like, I want a room that I cannot see because the armor is just ridiculously bright because of the amount of stuff I've got. I want to go in there and be like, putting my legendary armor on for the first time. I may not come back here again, but this just looks wicked. And it shows me all the stuff I've got. And there's slots for places. And I would love that. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it would be cool if you could do that. Like you have a literal armory. Give me an armory where I can see the stuff that I have that is not in my hands and on my character. I would love that.
Wouldn't that mean that you have to go back to do something though to a, like,
Yeah.
No, fuck it. No, once you're done it once, you don't have to go back. It's okay. Because you don't need to have it. You don't need to put the armor on again. You're done. That's it.
You would just like get out like a copy, right? And get like a copy of your armor set, put it on your character, and then so you would only have to go there like if you want to go grab a new set, a new copy of your set, I guess.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't
Or,
have
like,
to go back to change the stats or anything, right?
The new legendaries you have.
I was envisioning this in a very different way, and that I was kind of going, I think they're going to integrate it into the UI alongside like wardrobe and stuff like that, where there's just like a tab that's like legendary.
Yeah,
and then like what it does will fundamentally be kind of what Lara's saying, where like you have like, these are all the legendaries you've collected on your account. And like when you like drag it over onto a character or something, then it like copies that gear onto that character or whatever. And then you can select whatever substats. Like that's what I thought. Would I like some sort of fun little actual armory? Like, sure. Would I like, legendary housing items if we get individual housing where I could, like, here's the legendary that I crafted and I also get a furnishing item for it and I can put it, But I just thought like for convenience and accessibility and things like that, they just do something kind of like those other tabs, which is honestly good with me because I like being able to just like anywhere at any time, just go and be like, here's this, change that look, put on this outfit, do that thing. I think it's a really great convenience. So I don't mind if they do that, but it'd be cool if they did something more.
I think it'd be cool if it was like WoW Heirlooms. And Oxy just said something about WoW Heirlooms where they have their own tab and you can basically generate a copy of whatever thing you've had unlocked. And in fact, in WoW, you can actually generate them for new characters and it sort of levels up with you. Like that would be interesting if you could do something like that. But it'll probably just be a tab.
Yeah, I agree that is what they're going to do. That is definitely what they're going to do. I think I am gonna be like, I want a little, even if it's just the bank, the first time I want to just have it a little bit of a special moment, just a little bit of a like, I don't know, even if it was like a little cinematic or something, like you have unlocked the legendary armory and it just slaps the armor on you or something. I don't know. I feel like it should be a special thing, like it just should be, but it won't be. But it's not going to matter. I'm going to forget it anyway. And just be like, it would just be like, I don't care now. I've got legendary armor on all my characters because I am being extra because flip it. Damn it. I want dreams. I live for the dreams, man. That's what you got to do in life. You only get one. My dream is to...
Wow, this legendary armory discussion has become such a bigger thing. I wasn't even. Philosophy is real.
That's right. Apparently, I need a therapy session. But no, it's just I do dream big with stuff, and sometimes it's I like to imagine that people's imaginations go further than mine because then I can
Great. Yeah, that's what we're imagining.
They've told us that. Fuck off. They've told us.
Are coming next expansion. Raids.
I would absolutely love that to be the case. I would love it. Unfortunately, I think that they have. Yeah, I mean, there's loads of stuff we would love to see, and we should probably have a podcast on that. I guess we may have had that one already. I'm not too sure. I think overall though, like we're excited for all things that are kind of coming along with all the stuff. Is there anything else in there I've kind of missed actually? Trying to think. Oh no, preparation for. Are you guys okay to carry on for a little bit, or do you have to go? You're okay.
I'll get over here.
If you need a break, do you need to go to the bathroom?
Go for a little bit. I got cooked dinner tonight at some point, but
I thought you would have had leftover pizza. I mean, that's what I assumed.
I wish we ate all the leftover pizza at the beginning of the week. We allowed ourselves one takeout night, and now we must cook healthy food. Disgusting.
The worst. Go have some chocolate.
Yeah, I've still got my
milk chocolates.
Hershey's that I've been nursing for the entire stream. Okay, so you've got an expansion coming out in X months, September. And I'm just whispering because I think it's September. And you've been playing the game for a while. You've got this stuff which is coming out where you're like, oh, there's this Marionette thing. That's cool. But that might take like 15, 20 minutes. We got the DRMs. Yeah, it's been around for a while. That's still the same thing mostly every day. You got dungeons, I shouldn't really include that. Fractals, raids, PvP, World v World. I've done that every day. I've done loads of stuff. I'm getting maybe, to the point where I'm a little burnt out. Maybe I'm trying to find some stuff to do. What am I gonna do between now and the expansion? Like, what I mean, we can offer suggestions, but what are you doing? Maeric's got his hand up, so you can go first.
I got a good one. Play Guild Wars 1 and catch up on the story, because I never played Cantha in Guild Wars 1. So for me, there's not a lot to do. Maybe make legendaries, I guess, and be ready. But as far as like actual in-game preparation, I'm just going to build my community, try to get people together and get ready for the content. But for me, I would love to go back and do a playthrough of actual Guild Wars 1. I never did that story. So I think that you might actually see like a weird influx of people back into Guild Wars 1 as we get more and more.
I'm doing it next week. That's when I'm starting.
Hell yeah.
Sarah's been playing it as well.
Yeah, I did it before Path of Fire as well for some reason. I can't remember. But I done the original one. Don't think it did. We didn't do factions. Yeah, you can play with us. I'll do it. I'll do a car match with everyone
together. Okay, let's go playthrough.
I have played half, and what was funny is that I played Prophecies and Factions, and then Icebird Saga came out, and I was like, oh, I never played Eye of the North, and I was like, what am I gonna do? It's like I played them in reverse. I should have done. I don't know. I wanted to play them all before I ever did Eye of the North, since that was the direct lead-in into Guild Wars 2. But Eye of the North definitely had more for Icebrood, and Factions definitely has more for Cantha. So there's a lot of good stuff in there to look into.
What's the order of that?
It's not like a strict set order. The release order is Prophecies, Factions, Nightfall, Eye of the North, right? Correct?
Yep.
I believe so.
So
Yes.
if we do Factions, then Eye of the North.
You can do them in any order, honestly. They're like independent campaigns, and you can make different characters for each if you want.
Yeah.
Or you can play like the same character through all of them.
Wait, did we do
But,
Nightfall?
like-
I can't remember.
Yeah, just like Eye of the North is the only like actual expansion. The other one they're called campaigns, right? So you can like just play them any order, they're standalone. Eye of the North is the only one which you actually need to already have a character for before you can play on. Like Guild Wars 1 holds up like surprisingly well though. I've been playing through it recently on stream. And like I'm legitimately having a blast. And the graphics, like I've been playing some WoW Classic. The WoW Classic graphics, they look very much like dated, right? But Guild Wars 1 still looks surprisingly good. I think it's just like incredible art style.
You know what they do
Highly
better?
recommend this.
Like the world, the atmosphere and the world building of WoW Classic doesn't bother me at all, but Guild Wars 1 does the character models much better. The character models in the original WoW Classic are just atrocious. It's kind of hard to swallow.
Absolutely.
But I want to echo that. I think the Guild Wars 1 holds up in a lot of ways. In fact, a lot of you guys, I'm just going to speak to you out there in the chat. If you play Guild Wars 2 and you like the lore, Guild Wars 1 could be a really cool and interesting experience for you. The game itself is really good at storytelling. I would say that in some ways they're better at storytelling than even Guild Wars 2. And what's really fascinating is that you can actually play it sort of like a single player RPG. And more than that, you can play it as a local co-op RPG. You can just take a couple of friends of yours and then go through the entirety of the story. And you build a party of other people. You control NPCs and their behavior and their skills. And you set up a party and you can actually do all of the content that way. So you can play it like a Final Fantasy or something. Yeah. It's crazy. It's actually a pretty good experience to go through.
Yep, get the skins as well if you link it to your Guild Wars 2 account. Indeed, and that's correct. You can indeed.
Yep. There's also a special ranger pet. It's like a white raven that you can get. Yeah, there's a lot. It's a great time to replay that. And then, yeah, if you work on some of that Eye of the North stuff, I think there's even a version of Eye of the North in Guild Wars 2 that if you've done Guild Wars 1, it's Hall of the Monuments. Is that it? Hall of the Monuments, where like you can see like a version of it that is like your own.
I don't think you need to have it. So I think you
can
already do that.
When you first make a character, and it allows you to teleport into it. But long before it was an actual instance that they built, like an actual zone that they built, it was just an instance you could get to.
So you did need to have Guild Wars 1, maybe.
For that one, yes. Not for like the new version that we have, but for like that original, yeah. So all of that's really cool. I'm probably, I do want to go in and work some more on Guild Wars 1 at some point. I'm working right now on legendary armor, so that's something that I've been doing, and the otter infusion, so I'm working on that too. And I have 2 of the really hard jump puzzles left. I still need to do endless tears in my cup, aka chalice of tears, and oh gosh, what's the other one?
Aether Blade one.
Huh?
You've done the Aether Blade one?
Yes, I've done.
One.
I've done every one except for these 2 because we went through for months and did every single jump puzzle, and the only 2 we have left are one that's like a fiery one. It's what is it called?
Yeah, that's Chalice of Tears, isn't it?
Oh, there's Chalice of
You just mentioned that.
There's a different one. What is it called? I need to check here in the chat. Yeah. It's not Chalice of Tears. It's why can't I remember it? Searing Ascent. Searing Ascent is the other one.
Right, yeah.
Those are the 2 that I have.
Let me laugh in tears as I think about that jumping puzzle.
I had a lot of fun with them, honestly, and jumping puzzles were some of my most.
Change your mind.
Well, here's the thing. Jump puzzles were some of my most hated content when I first came into the game. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't grow up playing stuff like Mario. I didn't do a lot of platformers. It was really frustrating and embarrassing to me. I'm not gonna lie, trying to do these jump puzzles on stream. And we'd have like a basic one. And I play a Norn, and I sort of stubbornly do all the jump puzzles on my Norn because I like to just prove a point.
Absolutely.
So I was like, I'm gonna do it on this huge hulking character that I love, and I'm gonna just have fun. And it was so nerve-wracking to me when I first started them because you get embarrassed. You don't want people to have to wait for you. You feel ridiculous if you can't make the one jump that everybody's like, this is the easiest jump of the whole thing. But at some point, I like transcended, and I was just like, this is so cool, and it's so fun, and it's so unique to Guild Wars 2. And I really wanted to do them because I think so many of them are clever, and there's little hidden riddles and little lore and little things there too. And I was like, I want to get good enough at this that I will like be able to do it. So it took hours. It took a lot of falling, a lot of dying. I mean, I have tackled now and cleared the Nightmare Tower and all sorts of stuff, which is super fun. Like, not Nightmare Tower. Yeah. So like all of that has been really fun, and I actually found that to be really rewarding. The chairs collections, the cat collections, you can do those things with friends, and they're so fun. And if you just give yourself some time and space and patience, I think there's a lot of good memories to make with them.
I often wish I talk about this a lot with Guild Wars 2. I think if you play WoW or you play a lot of other MMOs, I'm going to pick on Final Fantasy because I think it's one of the worst offenders of this. If you go into the world, just the zones, there's not a whole lot of reason to explore. You're not really rewarded for exploration in a zone. You know, like my experience in Final Fantasy is like you pop into a zone for 2 seconds and then you do whatever that story thing is, and then you take the waypoint out, and everything feels very disconnected. Guild Wars 2 is one of my favorite things about playing the game is that it's a new player experience, and exploration is really rewarding. Like you wonder, like, is there something behind that waterfall? And in Guild Wars 2, there probably is, and you might go behind that waterfall and find not just a chest, but maybe an entire area opens up, and you found this enormous jumping puzzle. I mean, do you guys remember that experience when you first played this game and stumbled upon some giant epic event or like some epic?
I think I still do it now because my memory is bad sometimes, so I'm just like, wow, this is awesome. Yeah, it's true. And
they're so great. They're actually so much fun, so unique in the game, and such an awesome thing to explore. My only downside for JPs is while they're amazing, I think that like the reward for doing them is terrible. Like, you know, at the end of a JP, you're going to get a little chest that's going to have 2 pieces of blue identified gear, maybe like a thing that you just stick in your material storage, and there's not really that hope that you're going to get something awesome at the end. I think they should revamp.
Back in the day, it was one of those things where you were like, yeah, I've got to do these many jumping puzzles a day for the chance of getting this X thing, and now it's like, maybe not.
Yeah,
achievement points, yeah. Sure.
The reward for it for me was more just like a social thing. You know what I mean? Like, we would like lift each other up and tell each other like, come on, you could do this, you could do this. We'd like cheer each other on, take a screenshot at the end. Like, I would love it if there was like some additional rewards. And I mean, there are technically achievements that like tick them off, which is fun if you just want to kind of be like, look, I did everything.
Yeah.
But I would love it if there was, you know, something unique or something cool, like more additional that came from it. But I think there are, and especially in like patch content lull, those are the times where I think that sometimes the value, there are always going to be grinds that various MMO teams set up for you to just tide you over until X, Y, or Z, right? And sometimes for me, that's what leads directly to burnout. So I find that like in those periods, I try to balance how much I'm doing those grinds with how much I'm doing other things that might be rewarding to me in a different way, like teaching new players how to raid, or doing RP, or doing whatever it is, doing jump puzzles and making memories together and taking pictures and putting them in a Discord channel. Like those sorts of things don't have a tangible reward, but they have like an emotional reward that I think helps people sustain and make their own content.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
As a jaded, old, grizzled raider that does nothing but hop around the aerodrome, this is great advice. It's so easy to get wrapped up in just that kind of thing, and that's not good. Varied kinds of goals and working together with the community. Those are the things that make this game, I think, especially special. It's a really good communal game.
Yeah, if you can get into a guild, that is one of probably the single best things you could do. I think that's why we started raid training or raid messing about. Well, I'm not sure what to really call it. But like we started that like I think it's 2 months it's going on now, so maybe 3 months, and we just got new people coming in every week, and it's just like playing new builds, playing whatever, and not really like, I mean, there is a point now where we do want to kill a boss. There is, but I find that exciting, like other people getting energetic and exciting, because, we've maybe half of us or more have maybe killed the boss with other groups, but this is our like first guild kill together. Like to clear a raid wing will be a special moment for us as a group. It'll be like, that's our first raid wing we've done, and then we can start again. And February 6th, wow, okay. And then we were like, other people wanted to get involved, so we added another night, and now we've got 2 nights. And I don't care about, and I'm streaming them as well. Like, and viewership is like obviously as a streamer you care about viewership, but I've cared less over the years about the viewership. I just don't even know sometimes what the number is. But so it really is just for that community kind of enjoyment. And I think in MMORPGs, when I'm playing solo through them, I really miss that element. No matter how good the game is, I just can't. I just, unless I'm PvPing and my goal is to be solo doing that, like trying to kick ass. Sorry, wow, American. That's the reason why I play. But like, it really has made, like, having a guild and having that has been one of the single best experiences that has revitalized my Guild Wars 2 experience completely. Like, I have not played the Guild Wars 2 as much as I've played it this year since maybe 2016, I think, because I played every story episode, I played everything. PvP was the world I was in, and I would get upset and sad that I was losing, or someone was being a dick, or it's too toxic. I would just log off. But now, like, we found our community, and it's just like, damn, man, it's just reminded me why I played in the first place, because we came here with such a big community. If you can get into a guild, and I'm sure that all 4 of us, we all have guilds. Come to one of our channels. If you're on NA or EU, Lara's on EU, and NA actually. I'm pretty sure Maeric and Rook are on NA like I am. We've all got guilds. If you're a friendly person who's not a complete arsehole, you're going to be welcome. And then we can all be arseholes as well. But like, I'd just say it how it is, Rook. You know what I'm like. I know. And that's basically the gist. If you're a dick, you know where to go. And it's bad.
See, I like it because I phrase it as, if you're cool, chill, and friendly. But what it really means is, don't be a huge dick.
Exactly, it is. Basically, is.
That's streamer talk.
Yeah, exactly. I got to work on the streamer talk. I've been doing this a while as well, so I got to work on that. But I'm just brutally honest. I think it's just like, don't be an asshole. But yeah, I think for me, like, as my advice for like people, and also just like finding new challenges, new things in the game. Like, try a game mode you've never played before. That will change the way you play as a player. it's got different challenges. You know, in PvP, I play a completely different build and setup to what I would in you know, a raid or a fractal, or I pick a different trait and then that changes it up. Elite specialization, that changes it up. Jump into some of these lobbies and communities where you can do something different. You may not enjoy it, but it'll kill a night of learning or trying to learn. And look at, like, you know, the different kind of looks you want to make. There's so many different armor skins out there which you can just get just by going to a vendor in one of the old maps and spending some karma on something, you know. On new achievements, like this stone infusion was one of the most exciting things for me. Like, I was like, I can't be a dwarf, but I can look like one, kind of. And now my Asura has this stone infusion, another dwarf, and it just took me a week and a half to get. It was just like an exciting, cool little thing. But yeah, there's I think the guild thing though is a big one. If you don't, and I'm fairly introverted. I know it might seem like I'm quite extroverted. It's actually kind of funny because someone in my class called me extroverted the other day, and I was like, really? No. Being a streamer doesn't mean you're extroverted, by the way.
That's
It's so true. And yeah, you can get into these communities. It's doable. Find a good stream, good people. All of these guys, they're all awesome people, awesome streamers, awesome communities. They're all in here. All got people from their communities in here, and you know, we're similar in what we feel about the game and just as people. Because those are the kind of people I want on these shows. I'm not really up for bitching about the game for 3 or 4 hours or whatever it is, and you'll be guaranteed to get into a good place. So please, in the description, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitch, if you're listening on Spotify or Anchor, go into the description. You can find all their info of where they do the most stuff, and you can do that. Lara, I think you were going to talk, and I went on some massive spiel.
Oh, was I?
What do you? I don't know. You probably forgot. But what is it that you're kind of doing as you're leading up to Guild Wars 2 and next expansion and stuff?
I really like reading in this game. Well, one of the things I'm doing is I'm leading this music guild, right? And we're gonna do a big concert, which we do every year in summer. So lots of my time is gonna be spent on that. But as for actually playing the game, the game itself instead of the music, I really like reading. But reading it has this way of becoming still. Exactly, you know. Looking at how we haven't gotten a new wing in like 2 years, there's not too much exciting stuff there. But I got myself this goal that I want to be able to play like every single role. So
Same.
what I'm constantly doing is I'm making new characters. I'm trying to learn new builds.
Mirage?
Soon.
Yeah, I want to try that one.
I feel like Alak Mirage might get nerfed like literally on Tuesday.
Don't say it so. I'm not ready. I love my build.
I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to do
If it's still not nerfed after Tuesday, I'm making
How long
one.
was Chronomance around for, like, doing the ridiculous stuff it does? I felt they'll over it for a while.
True.
They might nerf it because Mesmer again, but otherwise, like, you know, Mesmer seems to get these awesome stuff in raids, but, you know. That's been such a fun way for me to keep things fresh, because you know I've killed Kadim like a million times by playing a DPS Holosmith, but then when I'm playing a heal firebrand or something, it's just a completely different experience. So I started to realize that by making new characters, playing new playstyles, it kind of revitalizes this stuff and it gives me more stuff to work with. And then I completely expect End of Dragons to come around and just completely change the meta, and all the stuff I've learned is gonna be useless, but it's gonna be fine. Yeah, you get to learn again, right? You get to learn
exactly.
Again. That's it.
More content.
Yes.
That's what I'm doing right now, I would say.
I'm interested about your music guild stuff. How many people are in your band?
Well, we're not really like a band. It's not like we're like 5 people and we're the the Tyrian trio or something.
Tyrian trio. That's such a good name, Laura.
I just came up with like 5 seconds. Okay.
I wasn't being sarcastic at all.
We're like a large guild. We're currently at like 450 people or something like that.
That's a big
anyone
band.
who plays music. Yeah,
Can't do
we
that.
don't play with like 400 people at the same time.
Really? Why not?
We do not.
I would pay to see that. Holy crap!
See the Lara
Please.
orchestra, please. Can we get the entire orchestra
Jesus.
together?
Yeah. Right.
Unfortunately, the game breaks down if you've got like too many people. We have tried. We have
What, with
tried. I
musical
think the most we've done
instruments?
is like 10. Yeah, like you know,
Interesting.
there's a certain like limit to how many notes can be played at the same time. So if you go
What?
like super intense, you start like dropping notes. Your notes will just not play. So we're always like trying to like work within the
Aw.
within the limits of the game.
That's really
But
sad.
that's like part of what makes it fun though. You know, like hey, how do we've only got this many notes we can use. How do we use them the best way to make it sounds nice? But it's cool
Laura,
because like
Have you ever considered going to Final Fantasy 14? I've been to
I have tried the music in that game.
amazing musical orchestral performances.
I know what
You know what's
someone's
the
going to
thing?
say about Lord of the Rings Online, but that is the game you want to get
Oh,
into
yeah.
if you want to get the music going, because that game
You know what the issue is though?
is immense.
Like, I think in Lord of the Rings Online, what people do is they use scripts,
yeah, that's the
which is
only
totally
problem.
fine. But
Yeah.
like our whole thing is we enjoy like playing together and like practicing.
Yeah.
And the one issue that Final Fantasy has, we went and tried. we
Yeah,
were
nice.
very much interested in that. Final Fantasy's music feels really nice and fluid when you play it. Like you press the button, you instantly hear the notes. In Guild Wars 2, when you press a note, there's actually a tiny bit of a
It's a
delay
cast bar,
before
isn't
you hear
there?
it.
Or something? Yeah.
And that like throws some people off when they like start playing. But because of that delay, that is what makes it possible to play with other people live. Like if you play a band song in Final Fantasy, you just get there, everyone is gonna hear something else. It's like not synced together properly. Which is sad because that game has fantastic like musical sounds. Like the harp and that sounds like
That's interesting.
amazing.
Although
But Guild Wars 2 is the only game we have found in which we can like play together live, which is like the fun.
Never
That's the whole
thought
fun
about
of it,
that,
right?
actually. There's like a
you
whole.
know an agreement pops up when you learn Bard and you get the music.
Oh yeah.
It says you must agree to promise not to play any copyrighted music in the video game.
Don't ban me, Square Enix.
What?
I definitely didn't do that.
No, they literally do.
Yeah,
Oh, they
they-
tell you not
I
to
mean-
play music from outside the game in the game?
Well, because they can't control copyright, so like it's a weird thing. Like I have never seen anybody actually get punished for playing something that is not Final Fantasy 14. But like technically they have to make the disclaimer that because of like
Yeah.
copyright claims, you know, like they can't have a thing in their game that facilitates the illegal playing of music that is not their property.
Yeah, no, because they can't. It's in a public space. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
need licensing for that. That's right.
You know what's like the sad
So
thing?
funny.
Last year, I was just getting started with streaming, so I streamed our big concerts. But there's been this whole like DMCA crackdown on Twitch where you're not allowed to like play copyrighted music.
Really?
I'm too scared to stream it this year. I feel like I might actually get in trouble for our
No.
giant concert featuring like 20 like actually copyrighted songs.
I don't
I'm not
think you
sure
will.
if I dare to
You
do
can
that.
you can do covers. You can do covers on Twitch. I'm
Can you?
pretty sure. I'm
I
pretty
think
sure you
is
can.
it all Guild Wars 2 music, or do you do other stuff?
Oh no, we played just like band songs and like pop songs, and that's the most fun when people recognize it. You know, they're like,
Yeah.
oh hey, I know this song. What's in Guild Wars 2? Whoa!
Yeah, you'd
That's
have
like
to
the whole
double check,
fun of it.
because I
yeah.
know there have been some streamers who've even gotten banned for like music playing on Just Dance, and some DJs
Yeah.
and things that have gotten in trouble for various things. You know, even though they're technically doing their own like
Google
remix
that.
or cover thing. So yeah, you'd have to check, but if it at the very least, if you did a concert of his Guild Wars 2 music, you are allowed to play that and use that. I think ArenaNet's pretty open about it.
Oh
so-
yeah.
I'm actually googling the cover thing.
Oh, I mean the thing is though, it's definitely gonna get streamed because there's always like 6 people streaming it. I just don't think I'm gonna do it on my like channel, which is like I worked very hard on building that up. I don't want to risk it on my channel. But it's definitely gonna be streamed by like 4 people.
You
at
can do
least, so-
covers. You can do covers on
You
Twitch.
can.
As long as it's not any original recordings of any original sampling or recording or voice or music.
Then I think we should
Pretty
be
sure.
fine.
Yeah, as far as I can see. I remember this Twitch. There's this Stream Scheme website. They're pretty good with their stuff. I'd need to check the TOS specifically, but I'm pretty sure as long as you're covering it, because there's loads of. There you go. Reader would definitely have it. Performance of the song owned by someone else, with the exception of a live performance on Twitch stream.
I love that they say with the exception of a live performance, and then they're like, but if you still perform it, then it's like, wait, hold on. In this one sentence, you're saying that like you can't do this, but also you can kind of do it, maybe in good faith.
Yeah, they want to be they want to be credited and stuff. It's like that's what it used to be like on YouTube back in the day. It was like you could just play whatever, but then you just have to credit people, and then they jumped on the bandwagon of. And people realized, oh, they're making some money because of my music. It's like, yeah, that's why everyone's watching this video, just because your song is playing.
That brings up a great point, though, which is that there are a lot of different guilds and groups and events that don't have anything to do with, I guess, content farming or stuff like that, or running stuff or clearing stuff or things like that. Social guilds are guilds where you're doing stuff like music or with like Pride Month coming up next month, there's usually a lot of guilds that are doing like marches or organizing events, stuff like that. There's lots of people to get involved with to do some fun stuff. I know in 14 there's like a club scene. This isn't even a joke. There's an actual club scene.
Oh, don't doubt it.
I don't doubt anything that comes out of Final Fantasy 14 anymore. I hear the craziest things, and they're all true. They're all true.
Yeah, that's true. Every time I go into that game, like, and just go into what is it, the main hub area, is it Limsa, whatever it's called, the base, one of the bases. I can't remember what it's called.
Limsa Lominsa. It is the craziest location to run through. It looks like you've been dropped off in an anime convention. Every moment that you're in Limsa, that's what that looks like.
People dancing, there's people RPing, there's people doing all kinds of things. It's a very interesting place to be. I could probably just sit there for 5 hours and just watch people doing random stuff.
And musical performances that are actually pretty impressive. But Lara's right. I think when you see a lot of those, they're the same person playing multi-boxing and doing them together scripted. So it's different.
And again, in Guild Wars 2, there's a lot of people who use like scripts as well. They use like AutoHotkey, and there's like a whole scene for people who do that. That is like super fine as well. Like do whatever you think is fun, right? But for us specifically, the most fun is like the fact that we're like learning and playing together. Like I must have spent like so many hours just like practicing songs with people and hanging out. It's like a nice social activity. You know how like raids can really like bring people together. In the same way, like practicing a band song and trying to really master it and make it really good is a fantastic way to make friends. Highly recommend just like Jabba said earlier, just like finding a guild, finding a group of people to hang out with and just do things makes such a large difference. That's what keeps the game from being still for me. Just like the amazing people I get to talk to and I get to meet. You can really make like some big like lifelong friends, just like hanging out in the game and joining some cool guilds.
You guys have real life friends? All of my friends are from Twitch. I don't know. So honestly, I was really burning out on Guild Wars 2. That was a big issue for me. And I've been raiding for forever, and like nothing, I don't have anything left to accomplish in the game modes in which I participate. But just recently, we started doing raid trainings, and I made a guild, and we started doing this stuff. And now I'm in my Discord posting pictures of 9 very proud baby raiders standing in front of the corpse of the first bosses that they've ever killed, and it's so exciting again for me. Not because I'm doing new content, but because I'm helping them do new content. So sometimes it isn't even just for the newbies, but it's for the veterans as well. When you get involved with the community, it can be like a whole better experience for everyone.
You're only like a really pro raider when you can explain the raid super well, in
detail and with like different perspectives on different roles and stuff. Yeah, I mean, like garnering that knowledge together is so great. And for people who aren't sure, right? Like, how do I find these guilds? Yes, I hear them talking about this, but like, how do you even get involved with this kind of stuff? Like Jeb said earlier, many streamers have communities. It's great because you can be in multiple guilds in Guild Wars 2. So it's not like you ever have to feel like you're picking and choosing like one or the other until you start capping. And, that's a whole other thing, right? But you can also usually look at places like Reddit, take it with a grain of salt. Like Reddit is sometimes it's the worst ever, but there are also sometimes where people are like actually trying to connect. Forums, Discords where people are grouping together to play various things. If you're in like a streaming community Discord or something and you ask like, are there any other great Discords I should be in for this? Are there any groups or guilds that people really like? That's also something that's great, right? If you see like Laranity or you see like these people doing music or doing other stuff like that, you can go up and even say like in game, hey, are you accepting? Like, how do you get involved with this? I think this looks super fun. Is there like a guild or is there a group that's doing this? Same goes for any shouts that you see in like zones or zone chat kind of stuff. Or if, you know, you even put up a little thing that's like, hey, I'm a so-and-so looking for such and such in a guild. Does anybody have any recommendations? There's a ton of ways to get connected. Usually it just takes a little bit of effort and, you know, being willing to be like, I'm going to put myself out there and just see what happens and try to get involved with some groups and give it a chance, right? Give it a chance to connect, because I think making that initial connection is the hardest, but there are so many people out there who are always looking for, you know, people, groups, new friends, new people that they can connect with in game or, you know, get inspired about some new facet of the game. So it's out there. You just have to kind of search around for it a little bit and try some things. And if a guild doesn't really suit you, you know, try a different one.
They're here.
Okay. All right then. Well, I think we are going to end because it has been 3 hours. Oh, good Lord. They always go. They always go. Yeah, it does. It does. And this is what I have to say at the beginning. I'm like, that time will go. And you're like, when you chat to people and you're doing things, that's what happens. In the future as well, leading up to the... And good points. Everyone has something awesome to say there. That was good stuff. Leading up to the expansion, we do have left Twisted Marionette, of course, Legendary Armory, 13th of July. Both on the same day, by the way. That's pretty cool.
When I'm on vacation.
Yep, sorry.
Boo.
And... Wait, I thought you were doing that after the... Oh, you did it the week before. Okay. What else is there? Still Every World event, Fractal Rush event, PvP season 27 and week-long bonuses next week, which is really good. Because you get Magic Find as well for opening your boxes. Dragon Bash on the 22nd of June. July's got another PvP tournament and Tournament of Legends, so you can get yourself a legendary, okay, with the PvP tournament. Chances again might be slim, but you can get stuff towards it, where even if you don't come first and get the legendary, so you can get a lot of extra items towards it. But you should be pushing to win, of course. And then another World v World week-long bonus. So Maeric, you can jump in there and get gifted battle. There you go, mate.
There it is. Yeah,
all good.
I got to do it this time.
And then July 27th, 4 days after that, and during that World v World week-long bonus is going to be the announcements and talking about End of Dragons, hopefully, which is going to be awesome. But also, in leading up to that, we are going to start talking about the expansion on this podcast, and we're going to start talking about elite specializations and thinking about what weapons are going to be, what trait lines are going to be, what the theme's going to be, and all the things. And I'm thinking about doing this for every week, doing 1 or 2 classes specifically, and I might get streamers depending on what they play. I'm not too sure yet, so we'll have to. I really want to do a good wind up, like build up to the expansion, because I've been holding off talking about this for so long, and this is going to be exciting. Because I'm like, what's a Guardian gonna have? What's an engineer gonna have? What's he gonna do this? And then disagreeing with people, and then agreeing with people. Oh, that could be cool. Yeah. It's always exciting to talk about that kind of stuff. But otherwise, we've had some awesome guests on today as well. Thank you very much for coming in. Legends joining us. Yes, it's always good. It's always a good time. Sorry, again, the flipping Heartthorns soundtrack going up all over your faces. It's very good. The Heartthorns soundtrack. It's worthy. I want to thank our guests again. Thank you to everyone live in chat. If you are thinking about kind of watch this stream live, it's live every 2 weeks. Today is the 21st of May. The next one will be in 2 weeks. I can't be asked to work out the date. You can work it out if you want. But it's without fail, it's been every 2 weeks for a while now. So come and join us then. I will definitely be getting each individual that's here on again in the future, for sure. But otherwise, we can do a little intro. They're going to let you know again where they're doing this stuff, where it can be seen and all the things. I'm not sure if that's too personal, but we're talking about streaming and content on the internet. So, although, anyway, Rook, what do you do? Where do you do it? And what's a snack you might eat while you're watching a movie at night after dinner?
Oh no.
Wait. Maeric first, because he got time to prepare the last time, and that's fair.
And I got an answer right away.
Wow.
It
I
has
don't
to
know,
be a
like,
different one from last time.
It is.
Can't be the
Yeah,
same.
it can't just be pizza again.
Some of you guys might have heard me talk about this. No, not pizza. So on stream, I eat these a lot. I don't know if you guys have had these. They're like Brazilian cheese balls. They've got a bunch of these in different places. Trader Joe's has got something. Brazzy bites, I want to call them. If you haven't tried these, please, somebody in chat, make me not look crazy by knowing what I'm talking about. They're so good, and that's what I eat. Anyway, I'm Maeric TV. I'm super glad to have been here today. I've been following Jebro for a long time. Jebro, you're awesome, buddy. Thank you for the invitation. Man. Rook, I'm just meeting you today. You're awesome. Thank you for contributing. And I watched your stream beforehand. I'm following now. Laranity, you know I'm the biggest fan ever. So glad to do a podcast with you. You guys can follow me at twitch.tv/MaericTV. I'm Maeric TV on Twitter and Maeric Gaming on YouTube. You guys are awesome. Thanks for having me.
Nice. Cool. Lara.
Thank you for watching, everyone. I was really glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me again. Like I said, I'm glad I didn't get blacklisted last time I was here.
Oh, you did? We just, yeah.
Just really desperate.
Everyone who comes back actually gets
I
blacklisted.
Heard that.
I was like...
I stream almost every single day at twitch.tv/Laranity. I'm also on youtube.com/Laranity. Need to be a bit more active there, actually. I stream Guilders 2. We're streaming Guilders 1, and I also do a bunch of variety stuff. Mostly Guilders 2, though. I absolutely love all the people on this podcast. Like, Jabbo just keeps inviting like people I like. This is part of why I like this podcast so much. So thank you all for having me. I had a great time, and maybe I'll see you again in the future. Would be cool.
Awesome. And then, oh wait, you didn't say your thing.
Favorite snack.
Oh,
snack.
Obviously the best snack is milk chocolate. You know.
Just milk chocolate.
Yeah,
I love it.
I like milk chocolate. We all agree that milk chocolate is the best chocolate. White chocolate is pretty good too, though. White chocolate is pretty right.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't eat many breakfast snacks. I have the weirdest sleep schedule, where I wake up and have dinner after I wake up. So breakfast is not a thing in my life. But if I would have breakfast, it would be milk chocolate.
Very seriously put there. Thank you, Lara. Awesome to have you again as well. Rook, go for it.
All right. I'm Rook. You can find me over on Bird of Chess, twitch.tv, Bird of Chess. I'm usually live 3 days a week with a new YouTube video out a fourth day. And then on Saturdays, I'm over on twitch.tv, Gamerscape, doing the Aetherite Radio podcast, which is a Final Fantasy XIV podcast that I do with their website, which is fantastic. I always love to see new people, always love to hang out with new people, and always love to get to see all of you. It was so nice to meet you, Maeric. You are like literal energy. I loved your observations. Lara, I have been wanting to be on a podcast with you for so long. Not to be weird, but let me get weird for a second. And when Jeb had you on, I told you, when Jeb had you on a few weeks ago, and it was like the one that I hadn't been able to be at, I was just like, well, great. So I'm very glad that we got to have you too. And Jebro, you're fine, I guess. Yeah. So everybody...
Okay. I'll take that compliment. That was good. That was the best compliment I've had. Like, woo, careful.
No, I love getting to talk on these. I'm so glad that you invited me that first week and that I've been able to be on so many. It's great to connect with the community and talk with everyone, whether here or on any of our other channels or our other content. So thank you for having me again. And I'd love to chat and say hello anytime people are around. That's me. At Bird of Chess on Twitter. I'll throw that in there too.
Post-dinner movie snack.
Oh gosh. If I'm feeling sweet, Jeb, I go Jaffa cakes. I'm obsessed with them.
Oh wow, that's very English. Jaffa cakes.
I love them. We have so many in our house. But if I'm going savory, I do sour cream and cheddar potato chips.
Oh, they're good. Oh, that's a good choice.
Good choice.
I do like some chips. Okay, so Twitch.tv/JebroUni. This is where the stream is. The podcast is here. We do tons of different games. A lot of MMORPGs. Guild Wars 2. Elder Scrolls Online. A bit of Final Fantasy 14. Some World of Warcraft Retail and Classic. Many single-player RPGs. And once a year I play a scary game because I can't do those without crying.
Resident Evil Village is so good, you should play.
I'm not, no.
Ooh.
Oh, actually, maybe Christmas. Sorry.
I am a coward. I played Resident Evil Village. Now, did I scream endlessly? Did I make somebody else take the controller periodically? Yes. Did I make somebody else take over for the scariest level? Yes. But I did it. Did I have nightmares for days? Yes. But did that beautiful vampire woman step on me? Yes. So, you can do it.
Quality.
You can do it. It was
She's
actually
amazing,
super good.
That's
The
true.
story is actually pretty incredible, and I've never played a Resident Evil game, so
I'll do it.
Oh, can
I'll
you
do it.
start with that? Is that like actually a game you could start with if you haven't played the other ones?
I
Yeah,
would
totally.
advise that you play 7. We don't
This
you
is a
don't
Guild
have
Wars
to.
2 podcast. I'm trying to do an outro, goddammit.
I would advise
Have you
that you
played
play
Mass
7.
Effect? Like the remaster?
I love Mass Effect. Yeah, let's talk about that for another hour.
Another podcast for the future. Maybe I'll do some MMORPG podcasts, but maybe we could do some more. If you have feedback on other podcasts you would like us to do, I would gladly do them because I love doing podcasts. I'll do it for sure. So I'm shouting. Okay, my mic there is no issue. I was just screaming. Okay, Sam, this is important. It's right there, right where my mouth. Oh, sorry. Right. I don't think you need to. I think you can just play it. Sorry.
I mean, there's very important stuff from 7. That's all I'm going to say. Or have
okay.
a nerd who knows a lot about 7 who can tell you about it. That's what I did.
All right, fair play.
I had a friend who's
That was
obsessed with
fine.
Resident Evil tell me about it.
All right, now I kind of want to know. Damn it. These people are so interesting. Hence why you should come back in the future and also go back into the past. www.anchor.fm/Jebro, and you will be able to find out the things. Jebro Unity. And also, we will see you next time. This was episode 14, talking about the roadmap for Guild Wars 2 leading up to the expansion announcement. There's still more to go before the actual expansion comes out. We will see you next time. Come and join us. Oh yeah, youtube.com/JebroUni as well as Twitter and all the things. Just do Google for all of us if you're confused. All of the stuff will be in the description below. Why are you laughing at me?
And, Google it. That's it for me, Jebra.
See you next time on the LightBringers podcast. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Wave or something on there, can't I? Goodbye.